Welcome back to the Spine Chill podcast. This is the season 2 premiere. I am sitting here with two wonderful co-hosts who need no introduction, but I'm going to go ahead and do my best. One of them is an 11,000 hour Dead by Daylight killer main. He's 4K'd comp teams. He's a great fog whisperer, honored by his presence. And the other one is Gary.
Hi, Gary.
Hello.
And I'm John Wolfe. And we're here today to talk about asymmetrical horror games.
That was an excellent introduction, John.
Yeah, I agree. You got my name right in everything.
I figured you would like it, Doug. I figured you would.
My heart. Oh, my goodness. I'm going to listen to that on repeat. Morning affirmations, but...
Me
and
too.
if you're watching this on YouTube, you're seeing us on screen in the video version. But if you're listening to it on Spotify, for example, you're just hearing the audio version, which is
Use your
fine.
imagination. We're three handsome chaps.
Just imagine three extremely handsome men and
Three Henry Cavills.
yes, three exact carbon copies of Henry Cavill.
Can I be Ben Affleck? Like the
Okay, two Henry Cavills. One with, there we go, perfect. You can be Ben Affleck. Me and John will be
one
Henry Cavill. One with blue hair, one with brown.
one with blue hair, one with brown. Exactly.
Perfect.
Just like they drew it up. Yeah, I like it.
So yes, the season 2 premiere. Thank you everybody who tuned into the season 1 finale premiere last week.
We laughed, we cried. Oh man,
It was quite the journey. It was quite the journey.
It was, and it was a nice break. We needed the break between season 1 and season 2 to really recharge and be ready to talk about.
Really
more
think
of the
about the
stuff,
direction that we wanted to take the podcast in.
Yeah. Gary's leaving is what we're trying to tell you.
Decided that I'm fired.
We're looking for a new co-host.
That blast mine debacle.
But what we're planning on talking about in season 2, we're gonna be talking about Dead by Daylight, VHS, and Evil Dead mostly.
Whoa!
Because there's news for all three, which is
Big
crazy.
news. Yeah, big news. It was a huge week for Asyms this week.
Huge week.
Really,
Huge week for Spine Chill podcast as well.
True, yeah. Season
new
2
season.
Season 2 will not be without things to talk about.
We should get banners next time.
I want to let people know now, though, just so that they don't get baited. We're not going to be talking about Home Sweet Home Survive today. So if you were here for Home Sweet Home Survive, you're going to maybe wait on a couple more.
They actually have been updating Home Sweet Home Survive.
Have
There's
they?
There's a new character like a couple weeks ago or something that they added.
Yeah, I think it's still being played heavily on the Asian servers. Like there's still
tell you
people
what.
that are out there that are playing. it.
I will play it next week at some point. I'll find time and see if it's. Wow.
You're gonna want to play Survivor.
Can I play?
Survivor.
Yeah, can I play with you?
Yes, let's do it. Let's do it.
Like
Let's
that,
play.
I don't.
Let's us three
Let's play
find
together.
time. And,
Can we do that?
Yeah.
That sounds hilarious.
And then we can talk about it next week. Because
We can,
if you are here for Home Sweet Home next week,
Stay tuned for season 3 because it's going to be a big one.
season 3 is gonna be big time.
It's going to be big, yeah.
No, yeah. Home Sweet Home Survive is just one of those games that like I remember exactly when I quit. It was like I was playing killer and I was playing against the survivor and like they were just standing still and I was like, "Oh, I'm just going to go hit them." So I swung and they like dead-hearted right in front of me. And then I was like, "Okay, that was weird." And so I walked right up to them and I was like, "I'll hit them again." And then they like dead-hearted again. Basically, they just like press Shift W really quickly.
Yeah.
And it was like playing against a survivor that had infinite dead hard in Dead by Daylight.
Yeah.
It was just I could not hit them. I walked right up to them. I would like wait for them to move. They wouldn't, and then I would swing and they would move, and I could not hit them. And then I disconnected and switched games.
So basically, you quit the game because you were bad at it.
Yeah,
is what you're telling
it
us.
sounds like a skill issue.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
to
definitely.
Me, you just really what you needed to do is just de-rank your MMR a little bit. And you probably would have gotten
That's
some
what all
Home
the
Sweet Home
greats do,
Survive.
right?
That's what I've been told. Yeah, off stream they just MMR tanked. No, I played a lot of Home Sweet Home Survive, but I feel like that game was kind of a mess.
I played a bit of it.
yeah.
I really tried to like it, but
I wanted
just,
to. 'Cause
yeah.
we were so desperate
too.
for another game to play back then. I feel like that we just were like, oh, we can make this work.
This is
you know,
this is good enough.
this is fine. Yeah. Yeah,
Wait,
but
I
no,
thought we
it's-
weren't going to talk about Home Sweet Home Survive in season 2.
I
know,
you
we're
know what?
talking about
And
it.
I baited you guys into talking about it. And I'm so happy. This is excellent. Great.
We'll get
Can we
back on
talk
track
about, can we talk about prop night next? Can we just keep talking about dead games?
Oh my God, can we play that as well next week? Next week we should talk about Home Sweet Home.
Why don't we do? Season 3 we'll do the underappreciated ASYM. There's actually so many ASYMs out now. There's 3 really high, in my opinion.
Are we gonna play
decent quality?
We're gonna play Monstrum 2.
No,
play White Noise.
please, man, no, please, nothing I haven't played yet. No,
I still play White Noise 2.
I still can't believe Monstrum when Monstrum 2 came out, because we played it and then it came out like the next day, and I had no idea. It was like a month later that you were like, yeah, it came out like a month ago.
It came out like the day after we played it. Yeah.
Yeah, I never played
Monstrum 2. We played Monstrum 2 and we were just like, man, this is gonna need a couple more months in the oven, but you know, I think it could find an audience. And then it came out, it fully released the next day.
Oh no.
We were like,
no,
what?
that's not enough oven time, I don't think. Oh no. No, I never played White Noise 2. I downloaded it, and then the one time I tried to play it, I like couldn't find a lobby, I think, and I just gave up. I'm very impatient, so yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I'd be down to try any of these games, really.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, next week we're gonna play all of them.
It's a good time to be a horror ASYM player, because we've got like,
it's all these old shit ones that no one plays.
Yeah.
I just want last year back. Yeah.
Oh
next
my
podcast,
God.
we won't talk about DBD at all. We'll just we'll be like, all right, all you White Noise 2 fans.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Both of the White Noise 2 fans are here, right?
I want to see you all in the comment sections of this video.
That's great. All right, so we kick off with some DBD first. What do you think?
We should, yes. I think that's probably what most people are listening for, is some DBD action, which it's our main game, so it makes sense.
Yeah, we all love Dead by Daylight.
There was a new patch that just dropped. Very small patch, but it basically the main effect from it is that it increased Wesker's hitbox by 50%, I believe.
Is it 50%?
I thought it was 20%, but maybe
I think it was
20%.
I'm pretty sure. So what they did is they took the PTB hitbox, and then they took the live server day 1 hitbox, and they like met in the middle.
Yeah, I think it's 50% of what the PTB was.
50% of what the PTB was. Yeah, which is really, it's good math. This is a math cast. So.
Okay,
yeah.
got it.
That's all that university education was for, really.
Sheesh. Subway University.
But yeah, he's had like an increase to his hitbox. So Wesker's had a nice little buff. What are our thoughts?
Stop it with the smug face, Gary. Stop it.
Shall I go first?
See, this is why I have to direct, because when Gary does it, he gets all smug.
Yeah, power goes straight to Gary's
class.
side.
He goes into teacher mode. So class, what are our thoughts?
What do you think?
Okay, so I guess I'll kick off. I've got the most hours. I've got the most hours on Killer, and I've played Wesker more than both of you combined, I would assume. So
probably. You're probably right.
The reality is I play too much DBD.
But I think we stop streaming sometimes, so
can't relate. I think I want to just be a 24-hour streamer at this point. Just let them. They can watch me eat and sleep.
They can watch us record the podcast on your stream.
Watch a live stream of me recording a podcast. This is money. Why haven't I thought of that? No. So
that means we'll have to include all the stuff that we cut out, though. The stuff that we're like, we can't say that on the podcast.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I guess
the jump cuts.
Hey, hello everyone. Season 3 is canceled, as are we. No, I really think Wesker feels great. The update made him. I already thought he was. I mean, we talked about this in last season. That Wesker launched feeling a little underpowered, but after you got the hang of the power, he started to feel pretty good. I was doing really well with him before the update, and then they obviously increasing the hitbox by 50% just made it more forgiving. You can use his power in more situations, and his power is already really strong in terms of like closing gaps and staying in chase, and vaulting windows with bamboozle is still insane.
Yeah, it's very strong.
And then being vaulting pallets and like shack pallet. If they drop shack pallet and you vault shack pallet, they can't make window before the hit. So it makes him really strong. But then also the ability to use his power more aggressively, more offensively now seems a lot better to me. So I would say prior to the update, I would have put him at high B tier, low A tier. And now that the update is done, I think he's high A. Like he's right at the tippy top of the the mid tier. Stop it, Gary.
Oh, nothing.
You're so excited to talk.
Gary's so excited to share.
So excited to talk.
He's been waiting all week to talk about this.
Please,
Well,
can we record early?
I'll share my thoughts on Wesker's new hitbox. So I am a little frustrated by it. I do agree that he's better overall now, though. Playing against him as Survivor, though, just to bring the Survivor perspective into it, he feels a lot more difficult to counter now, because I had several occasions last week when I was playing against his new buffed hitbox where I would be at Shaq, for example. I think I shared a clip of this on Twitter. And like before he even launched, I would be turning out of his charge range, and it would basically like suck me up like a vacuum anyway because of the increased hitbox, I assume. And it wasn't just that time that I shared that clip, but it was other times I would see like that wouldn't have hit before, but it hit me now, and it just feels difficult to counterplay as Survivor. Like unless you can turn the corner and he just completely whiffs, it's like it feels a lot worse to play against now.
I saw your clip in question. I think the one that you said on Twitter. I saw that clip specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Felt pretty bad.
It felt bad. Like some people were in the replies saying that it was latency, which I do use a VPN, so that is a possibility. I'm not ruling that out. But his hitbox was increased by 20% as well, so it could also be that. It just, bottom line is, it didn't feel like I was rewarded for correctly, in my eyes, like moving out of the way before he even used his M2. And as well, and this might just be me being bad, but when I've played Wesker since the hitbox increase, I did notice me hitting random shit mid-charge a lot more in narrow hallways. Like, the ever-present wheelbarrow handle, just going down like what should be a straight shot, and then you just hit something and stop, and you're like, what did I hit? I feel like that was happening more.
I think this is a hard one to qualify, but to me, that feels better. My bumping on random objects and bumping down walls, like I actually felt like my collision was better. I still bump stuff in like tight corners and tight walls. Sometimes I'll be, I caught the car or I caught whatever. But to me, that actually kind of felt a little more cleaned up. But again, it's really hard to
I've not had particular issues hitting colliders either with Wesker recently.
It might just be me then, yeah.
Well, I mean, it's hard to be objective about something like that too, because it's really hard to test, right? Like every once in a while it happens. So
when you're in the middle of a match, you don't like go, oh, hang on, let me just see if I can mess this chase up so the survivor can get away. Let me just test this
Gary
out.
pulls out his notepad. Oh, another one. That'll be 7.
Add another tally mark.
Tally on the telly.
So yeah, I agree with most of what both of you are saying. I think Wesker feels a lot better now. Like I think he's much more he's much stronger. Like I'd have put him in, I thought he was strong anyway. I would have put him low A to mid A personally beforehand, because I think once you get used to using his power and like using vaults, and especially using his M2 to get distance or just move towards generators to defend them, I think he can have a lot of map presence. I think the buff to his grab was unneeded. This is my controversial thing. I think if you weren't good with Wesker, you didn't give him the practice and the time he needed, I think you were just playing him badly. I think they've buffed him now, and now he's too strong. I would put him in low S. I'd put him on part of Spirit.
Gasp.
Too
strong.
I think the fact that I'm still getting like, I would say 2 out of 4 matches are against Wesker, maybe 3 out of 4. Like, I'm seeing Wesker a lot, which is good.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's fantastic that a new killer is like popular, but it's also because he's really strong, and like people, as John was saying, he's quite oppressive against Survivor. When you're playing Survivor, he's quite difficult to get around and not get grabbed. Like his M2 is really hard to dodge. I've actually found the only way I can really dodge it is if I dodge next to a pallet, because then he vaults the pallet. It seems to prioritize him going over the pallet to hitting you, which is funny. But there's not always a pallet down next to you. So a lot of the time it's quite
maybe
difficult
not
to
when
dodge.
you're playing, there's not.
Pre-drop Doug here.
Comp Andy.
But like I'm just finding like he's got so much map like he's got like he's kind of like Nurse in the sense that he's like a fair Nurse. with a double.
Oh, Gary,
blink
making my
kind of
point.
thing.
You're making my point for me. Thank you so much. You're making my point for me. Go ahead.
Like
Keep
I
going,
don't
Keep
think
going.
he's unstoppable,
Uh-huh.
but I think he's kind of his M2's easy now. It's not satisfying to hit. I'm not enjoying playing Wesker as much since they buffed him because he's easier. I don't feel as clever getting my M2. It doesn't feel as satisfying as hitting a Huntress Hatchet or as shooting someone with Deathslinger or hitting someone with my M2 as Nemesis. It feels a little bit like, and I think that's probably why everyone's loving him so much. He's fucking easy.
That's true.
Yeah, I think things that I like about what you said, Gary, and some of the points that I think you made well are you can really tell the power level by how many people are playing them, right? And before it was all nurses and blights, a ton of nurses and blights, not all nurses and blights. Now a lot of those people seem to just be playing Wesker. We still see Wesker 70-80% of the time right now when you play Survivor, right? Like, I think I've played Survivor. I finally, and we'll talk about this later, but I've finally been like resorting to playing Survivor on stream because of the queue times and
How the mighty have fallen.
Yeah, it's dark out here. But the last, I think 3 or 4 streams total, I've faced one nurse, maybe 2, and probably like countless Weskers. I haven't seen a blight. I've only
seen a few.
Really?
In over
I've
a
only
week.
seen a
Like,
couple, yeah.
Yeah, but
nice.
it's just Wesker. And the thing about it, it goes back to like the hot takes, right? Like we know how killer players are in DBD. Like if they're not able to win consistently, they're not going to play the killer. So the fact that Wesker has played so much definitely shows that his power level is above that of the last few recently released killers. We didn't see Dredges after the first week.
No,
true.
You didn't see him after the first couple of days.
True. I was giving the benefit of the doubt on the first week, but yeah, we haven't seen a killer played like this since Nemesis, who's another very oppressive killer. I think.
Yeah, Nemesis is good.
Specifically oppressive in 1v1.
I do think
good.
part of it has to do with Albert Wesker just being an extremely popular character outside of DBD as well.
Very true.
Yeah, I love
That's a
Wesker.
factor.
Yeah, like I mean, Sadako,
Didn't give a
I think one of the least popular license
Jesus,
releases
Gary.
they've had.
I think
Wow,
I think I
Eric,
said something. I got the film wrong. I mixed it with A Grudge. So,
Oh,
I mean, your ignorance
fair,
doesn't make any
honestly.
sort of point, though. No, I don't like that.
Well, but like Sadako, like in addition to not being the strongest killer, she's also just not a very popular licensed killer outside of, I mean, it's a cult classic, right? The Ring.
Yeah.
Or specifically Ringu. But yeah, like Albert Wesker is like one of the most popular video game characters ever, even outside
one of the best villains.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
So,
I guess he's up there with like Bison and stuff.
yeah, like I think he's very strong. I agree with y'all. I don't know about S tier though, Gary.
Yeah, that we're gonna talk about that.
We're gonna.
I mean-
Don't think we're not gonna discuss that.
S tier. Do we want to talk about that now? I'm ready.
Yeah, I would like to know the intricate
like to
details
unleash the dogs.
of like high A and the difference between low S. I'd be interested.
Okay, here's the problem. You think you're dropping a mic right now, but I'm about to
No,
drop
I
a mic
don't.
right back at
It's on
you.
an arm. It's fine. It's not going
Mr.
anywhere.
Buns. All right, here's the deal. It's on an arm. Jesus. Okay. When you tell me that Wesker's too strong, and you tell me that Wesker's
I didn't say too
S
strong.
tier, you said you think we can go back. You want to check the receipts?
I think he's
Gary?
easy.
we have the recording.
I think he's easy.
You did say I think he's a little too strong.
I think he's a little too strong. But
I think I heard that as well. Yeah.
A little too strong in a game that includes the nurse, the spirit, and the blight. Like you're putting him at the same level of too strong as killers that have no counterplay. Because that's how I feel. That you
I
can't
think
Wesker's too strong.
I'm
if
going
Nurse,
to
Blight, and
massively
Spirit
disagree.
exists.
I think Spirit has counterplay, and I think Blight has counterplay.
Maybe-
Nurse doesn't.
Well, maybe
but
at
I
your
don't know.
MMR it does.
Blight-
Maybe at your MMR it does.
Maybe
Maybe
at
at my
your-
MMR.
Maybe at
Not in my
650
MMR.
I go
MMR.
against Lilith's Blight. Like I've
Yeah.
faced Blights. Like I know what they're like.
Oh my God.
Little phone, by the way, for anyone
Lilith,
listening.
yes.
No, I don't think that you can put Wesker at the same level as killers like Nurse and Blight. And I mean, I guess
Spirit. That's
Spirit-
I'm putting him on par with
Spirit-
Spirit.
Spirit and Hag is like you can maybe But even then, I don't know if I agree. I don't know if I agree. His power is so muted in like if you're at a safe loop, you're somewhere like you're at a strong tile. Nurse, Blight, and Spirit all have direct counterplay, and I don't think Wesker does. He still just has to chart. You still have to chew through that palette.
I'm finding myself able to get around strong loops now with his M2.
Really?
Because survivors that wait out you to go around the long way, they leave themselves open to an M2. They'll slow vault.
I have got a couple of. I've had a couple of really good grabs.
I think as people get better, he's going to be more oppressive. I think he's very strong. I think he's very good.
I think Wesker is very strong. I agree with you,
but I think he's easier to play than some of the other ones.
I do think on strong loops though, I think that killers like Spirit can definitely outplay him. Like, okay, for example, like on Eerie, that horrible little loop that's like that square with that pallet, that little fence in the middle of the map. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yes, with Wesker, like you can, like I've tried to get people with the M2 on that because you're like, oh, there's straightaways, but like it's short enough to where they can cut around the corner quickly and dodge it. Yep. I would say like if I was Spirit on that, I'd be like, oh, let's just shift, and then they have to throw the pallet basically.
But what I would counter with that is like Wesker's all of his power is not in his M2. Yeah. His terror radius is massive, which gives him oppressive power in other perks as well. He has mobility with it. Like he's not just his M2. I think he was strong. I think his build was his construction, his design was very interesting. He was a strong killer with an M2. His M2 was his lesser power. I think you said this last week, Doug. His like terror radius is his strength.
That is really
it's
an underrated power.
It is.
Right?
I would now see it the other way around. I think his M2 is his greatest strength, and his terror radius and his other stuff is like now a bonus thing to that, which is why I think he's very strong now. Yeah, I think his M2 was beforehand quite a difficult thing to utilize in an effective manner in a chase. Now it's, if Survivor makes a slight mistake, they're fucked.
I was just making the point that I think that he's not quite S tier level at strong loops like S tier killers are, like Nurse, Blight, and Spirit, because I think they have better counterplay at strong loops. So I was just making that particular point.
I think in terms of loops, he's not as good in the individual 1v1 loop of strong loops.
Yeah, a point taken about the terror radius though, like 4 meter terror radius with colorophobia or whatever is. That can be really
distressing colorophobia, and then now healing is not going to happen. So
and that's something that to your point there. Like while Nurse, Blight, and Spirit might be very good, at strong loops like that, they don't have that kind of macro ability of like slowing things down halfway across the map, like Wesker.
But they don't need to because they can get halfway across the map with their powers. That's the whole thing, though. Like,
True.
That's why I just have such a hard time. Like I just feel like Wesker is not. That's why he's like the penultimate high A character, because he can do some of the things that the S tiers can do, but he doesn't do any of them better than any of the S tiers. Right, Spirit's still better on short loops. Blight and Nurse is still better at map control, and Nurse just ignores everything.
I don't even put Nurse in S. I just think she's broken.
And Nurse is like S+. Honestly, at this point, Nurse is S+ exactly, and then Blight and Spirit are S. I do think he's high A. I've been thinking about. I've been like mid A. I don't know, high A. I think he's high A. I think he's in there with like around like the same level as like where I would put Pyramid Head. Although he doesn't have the same like skill shot.
Wow, that's
I would put Pyramid Head in high A. I don't know. Who else are you gonna put there?
It's like nitpicking at this point. I'm like, well, I would think more mid.
Oh yeah, you guys put you guys put Wesker or high A. It doesn't annoy me, but
to me, high A like would imply just under S tier, and I think, I think that. I don't know if I got Pyramid Head. That Pyramid Head has like no map control. He's like a one trick. He's good at shutting down like short loops, but even like long loops can be mind gamed and 50-50'd with him. So I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm just absolutely dog at Pyramid Head though. So
I think Pyramid Head has a high skill.
I'm not good. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree with that. Well, I think
Wesker is very new player friendly. I'll say that.
Not to get too far down the pyramid rabbit trail, but because I used to watch like whenever I watched like Otz do his tiers, he would always put Pyramid Head very high, like high A, and I was always like, what? Like, I don't get it for like the longest time. But I've been playing more Pyramid Head lately. I'm not like a main or anything, but I've just been kind of dipping my toes in. And I'm like, okay, I can see it now. Like, you get like, he's like kind of Huntress level in a lot of ways. But yeah, we don't want to get too far into that. I was just defending my.
Yeah, well, one of these days
that'll be a fun, like when we've got nothing to talk about with DVD.
I was just gonna say the same
let's
thing.
do a tier thing and
tier list,
just fight each other.
One more content star.
Great minds think alike, Doug. That's all it is.
True.
But fools rarely disagree.
My killer tier list does change weekly. I'll swap people around a little bit. So
like I mean, my Wesker's probably gonna drop at some point. I'm like, I know actually he's mid-A.
So what happens, John, is you play for a week and then whatever killers dunk on you, you're like, these guys are actually too strong. Like honestly, like what they need to tune it down a little bit. So.
Yeah, I'll get like 4K'd by an Oni or something. And I'll be like, how come everybody's sleeping on Oni? Oni's like kind of low S, I would say.
Low S. It's got him. It needs a nerf for sure. Yeah, I've talked about this a lot recently. I was like, you know what? The most overpowered killer in the game is the one that dunks on your 4-man. You're like, yep, this is broken. It's the only excuse. It's the only explanation. It's broken.
Sadako's actually busted.
Insane in chase, right? Like this.
Yeah. She's got
I remember when she first came out, I was like, I hate Sadako because I couldn't do my head on. That's all I wanted to do was head on. It was very difficult to judge where she was. Like, they need to nerf that. Now I'm like, she needs love. She's like just useless.
Well, the problem that I have with like Sadako and Dredge specifically is that people, whenever I go against them, they just use them to like teleport back to the hook right after you get unhooked.
Yeah.
And it's so boring. I hate it.
Yeah.
Doug's like, that's what I do.
Doug's like, I do that.
Unless there's something else for me to do, why would I not go back to the hook? Like, if I'm not in the chase and they're not doing... I'm going to get upset. Now you've got me upset.
Walked into me. I've got a camper tunnel. No one else is to walk.
I'm not finger wagging. I'm just saying it's not fun to play against.
Another back to hook Andy. They say crouching in the corner, not touching a gen, not taking a chase. Like, what the hell else am I supposed to do, bro? I haven't seen anybody in 5 minutes. Like, you unhook? Okay, there's something to do. I'm gonna go back.
Doug plays I watch Doug stream a lot. He plays very fairly, I think.
True. No, I mean when I play
Sadako, bad reputation, weirdly, but your comments on your Steam page are miserable. But you play very fairly.
Maybe a future segment we can talk about some of my profile comments. Like,
oh my gosh, that'd be great.
Oh, that's a good idea.
No, like when I play Sadako, like if I'm not in a chase with somebody and there's an unhook, you better believe I'm whipping around and teleporting back to that TV. I'm just saying the design is like not that interesting.
It's a design. It's not the player's fault. It's kind of the character's got no strength other than it's like Hag. There's Hag's camping. Hag. It's fucking Hag. What's she gonna do? The trapper's putting traps around the hook. What do you want him to do? He's rubbish.
Yeah, I took an opportunity there to manufacture some outrage, but the reality is, the design, the base design of killers like Sadako and Hag is playstyles that aren't fun to verse. Like
I remember when Sadako first. I remember when Sadako first came. I was like, oh my god, it's like a more fun Freddy, and I was like, but now when I play against Freddy, I'm like, oh my god, it's fun Sadako. It's like I love Freddy. Freddy's so rare now, and he's so much fun to go against because
he's shit.
I do wonder.
He's bad, because he's bad, right, John? Thank you. I was thinking the same thing. Like,
he's not the strongest killer, but
my favorite killer to go against is ones that can't do anything. It's great. I just win.
I just think there's a lot of killers that they've brought out where I'm like, they aren't quite as fun as I'd like them to be. Dredge goes back to hook a bit too much. Sadako's basically that's all they can do.
Right.
Bird Lady sucks because she just ruins every loop. Like, and now I go. Yeah. I remember when I used to not like Bubba. And now when I get Bubba, I'm like, oh my god, it's a fun killer. Please don't Insidious basement camp me. It'd be fun.
Yeah. I do miss going against Bubbas. I feel like I never see them anymore. Makes me sad.
Yeah. They are quite rare.
You can VPN yourself to West and come play against me, John. I play like
Great.
I see more hillbillies than I do Bubbas at the moment.
That's not real. You made that up.
No, I've seen like 3 hillbillies this week.
Really? That's crazy.
I don't know why.
Really?
I don't know why. That's daily. Maybe daily quests lined up or something. Daily rituals lined up.
I remember being like, another Billy? What's going on?
You know, that's wild. I didn't know that many people wanted to hurt themselves. That's crazy.
I mean, one of them was really good. The other 2, I think I escaped because it's Billy.
I never really thought about it until you mentioned it just now, Doug. But I am probably on the East server because I never go against you or like Spooky Loops or anybody like that.
The only time I ever got you was before we even knew each other, and I was playing with somebody on East. I was playing in a Swift with somebody else that was on East, and we ended up in your lobby. So that's killer.
That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
So I'm assuming they
who
probably
won?
matchmake you in East. We're not going to talk about that. That's like a season 7 or 8 kind of.
John
Yeah,
DC'd in the match.
Yeah.
I think I
had
forced
to
actually Gary.
Yeah, he actually did. Yes, he 4K'd.
Ooh, Doug,
Doug, how does
that make you feel?
Gary's enjoying this too much. We can't let him do this to us,
I don't
Doug.
wanna
We
talk
gotta
about it
shut this
anymore.
down. We gotta shut this down right now.
I wasn't live. I wasn't live at the time.
So it doesn't count.
I was playing off stream. And I did not go back and watch John's POV, even though I knew it existed. But he played very well. And, we were a duo, so I'm going to blame the teammates, the randoms, for throwing. I don't remember the details of the match, but it must have been their fault.
Probably was.
But no,
It probably
played very well. And I will say that your ping was immaculate. You must have a great internet connection, because I did not. I didn't feel like I got dedicated at any point in that game. So
Awesome.
well played, John. Yeah.
Glad to hear it. Thanks, Doug. I'm glad that we could resolve this amicably, despite Gary's best efforts.
Yeah, Gary's trying to drive a wedge.
I just want to
between
make
us.
sure that we strengthen our friendships.
True.
Doug's like, you're
Where
true,
are we
yeah.
at? Where are we at right now? Like, I can't even remember what we were talking about.
This is therapy now.
This is
so we were discussing Wesker.
Yeah, we talked about Wesker and power
Talked about
levels. We were
Wesker.
talking about power levels of the game.
power levels, the new M2, his tier.
Mhm.
Oh, we should. Okay, so are we done kind of talking about Wesker? Because
I think so. I think we're all we're all roughly on the same kind of page. I think there's a few differences.
Yeah,
here and there,
two of us are right and Gary's wrong, but we're gonna move on.
Yeah, we're on the same page.
Yeah, we're on a similar page. Maybe
We'll
not
let the
same
comment
page.
section take care of you. Actually, they didn't take care of you last time.
I know they're on my side. No, they weren't. They didn't really talk about it, to be honest.
I think that
didn't
I
really
did get a fair amount of people come through the stream to talk about the podcast, and a lot of people mentioned that they were upset with Gary over the Blast Mine take. So you did good, Gary.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Actually,
now that you mention it, yeah, people came into my stream constantly. They're just like, I just want to say Gary's completely wrong. And then I was like, thank you. I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
They just kept saying it.
Good take.
Yeah.
New VIP in the channel.
But we do have another
candy.
We do have another Dead by Daylight topic to discuss.
What could
Which
it
one?
be?
What's that?
Well, it's there's been a couple videos floating around recently. I think it started with Choi's video about MMR and hackers. And I think Scott Jund also covered it as well, because they've kind of pinpointed and data mined exactly how MMR works now, and I think it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So basically, the long and short of it, you can watch their video for full details, but top MMR, high MMR has been kind of a meme in DBD. Well, some people treat it like a meme, and some people take it very seriously. But it seems that mid MMR and top MMR, and this is what I've thought for a long time, so I feel very validated right now, are the same pool of players, which, according to hacker groups and people that would know, the range is like from 1,600 all the way to the hard
Like
cap
3,000,
of like 3,000.
right?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think there's a hard cap, but what Choi talked about in the video is that they have the Terminator bot, whatever, the one that like
The ones
can't
that instantly
possibly
just
lose.
kills
that
everyone.
The ones that
lose.
they can't lose. They cap out between 31 and 3,200 MMR. So at a certain, there's no cap, like it'll continue to go up, but at a certain point you gain so little from each one that it's basically not happening.
Yeah.
You're not
Right,
really going
yeah.
up anymore. So
Yeah.
yeah, and I guess the majority of streamers play somewhere in the 22 to 2,400 range.
Yeah. And that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense to me too. You see a lot of W's in an RNG-based game. Yeah, so and then 1,600 is like the cutoff for where like people start pooling together, right? So
Yeah, well, you can't
essentially-
go below 1,600, right? Once you get there, you can't go below it.
I don't
Is that
know.
right?
I don't remember.
Yeah,
I
they don't, can you
okay.
drop bands? I have
I'm
no
pretty
idea.
sure you can, but it's like hard. Like they talked about how in Troy's video. I don't usually seek out this stuff. I'm not really interested in data mining and hacking, but I did
That's
watch
nerd
Troy's-
business.
I did. Yeah, it's exactly that's what nerds do. I just play video games, but no, I did watch Troy's video, and the take that I got from it is basically like if you play a lot, if you're a streamer or just a person who plays a lot, like your MMR is probably somewhere in the upper 18, 19, 2,000 range, right? You're probably sitting somewhere in there. People that stream it, play it 40, 50 hours a week are probably in the 22, 2,400 range. But all of those people are end up matching together. And if your MMR has been pumped up to like 22 or 2,300, you can lose 10, 15 games in a row and you're not going to drop below the 1,600 cap. So you're still, you're not leaving your matchmaking career no matter what happens for the most part. Yeah. So basically, I think it's similar to old Red Ranks in the sense that like, you're going to get a mixed bag. And then to me, and my take on it is what's actually indicative of how hard your matches is going to be is what time you're playing. And like what the player
I think that's like one of the biggest parts of it is like who's live, how many killers are in the pool right now and you're playing Survivor and vice versa. Like, on, you know, other Swifts are online. Like if it's like work hours, people aren't necessarily online.
Yeah. This is something I talked about on stream a lot, and I got validated by this information. Is that like what really is going to tell you how hard your matches are going to be is like who's still playing DBD right now. Yeah,
because you play at like the middle of the night, don't you?
I do. So I start at 8 p.m. Pacific, so 11 p.m. Eastern. I play all through the night, so my games are really hard at night, and I've always taken from that the reason isn't. I mean, I meme about my MMR being high, but I think the real reality is that if you're playing DBD at 3 o'clock in the morning, you're either a content creator who plays a lot and is probably pretty good at the game, or a person who hasn't got a lot going on outside of DBD right now. Like they're just like, well, 3 a.m. on a Tuesday, time to play DBD, right?
That's what they do is they play DBD for hours and hours and hours.
Yeah, and they destroy people until they bump into Doug.
So casual Andy didn't just finish his shift up, you know, at the local grocery store, and then he's like, oh, I'm gonna head home and play a few rounds of DBD at 3 a.m. Right. Like, no, those guys probably went home, played in the evening, and then, you know, watched a movie with their wife and went to bed.
Yeah. Like 8:45 rolled around. They were like, time to start wrapping up the day now.
I gotta have my melatonin. And
in good news though, everybody who wants to, you can all put high MMR in your tags and stuff like I do, because you technically probably are playing against high MMR.
The odds of you being high MMR are pretty good, considering it's such a big pool. So.
Most of us.
I will say probably most of the content creators for this game, you know, it makes sense that they're high MMR. I think I might have mentioned this last week, so I apologize if I'm repeating information, but I did have the pleasure of playing in some low MMR games a couple weeks ago. And it was a wake-up call because, you know, I was just sitting there, you know, in these Twilight Zone games where, like, nobody does gens. People go down and chase, like, in a couple seconds. You know, you vault the window a couple times at Killer Shack, and the killer, it doesn't know what to do. They just keep vaulting the window over and over, and you can just loop them there forever. And it's like, oh, this is what actually, like, the majority of people are experiencing playing DBD. Like, those of us who play it a lot, we're kind of in a different matchmaking pool completely from the majority of the player base. Yeah.
Although I suppose low MMR is a different kind of hell. It's all just different circles of hell, really, isn't it?
Well, it seems like a hell that would be kind of easy to get out of if you were like cracked, you know. So
well, and I think that's what they talked about in Troy's video too, right? Like that you start off at like a brand new account starts off at like 600 MMR, but then
you quickly boosts you.
If you play well, it'll pump you up really fast. Like if you do well early, like it's kind of hard. It's hard to like smurf bad MMR because it's gonna, if you escape, you're gonna get massive MMR gains at first, and then it's kind of like placement matches in MOBAs, right? Where you play like your first 10 games and it gets an idea of where you're at.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And I think it uses that information in the future as well to like
Yeah. I don't know. So I guess the end result is we still don't know a whole lot about MMR other than it exists, and
it makes very little difference to your experience.
Really. I mean, I'll tell you this much: if I'm gonna say something positive about it, like I don't get a lot of stomps ever. Like I don't usually get teams that have no idea what they're doing ever.
I agree.
Like I get easier games than others. I'll have ones that are, you know, I'm coasting, but I don't have people that like literally don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, usually like the easier games is when they make a very early mistake.
Yeah,
and it's just good RNG. Like you just managed to you check one G, like, oh, there's 3 of them here. Oh, this one's already dropped God Palette. Oh, they've gone down. The fuck?
Right.
It's just snowballs.
or like you get an early down and then like you're about to pick them up, but then you notice like somebody just trying to hide, and then you start another chase. You get 2 downs, and then you get into another chase,
and then
like,
once you've got 2 on hook at 5 gens, they're not gonna win that game.
Yeah, then you've got like
always
an
playing
insane
catch-up.
amount of pressure. Yeah,
because that first gen's not gonna pop for a while unless someone's like dedicated.
Honestly,
but then someone's probably going stage 2. So
honestly, if you can get a hook before the first gen pops, like that's a good sign.
Yeah.
Well, I think it
Go
happens
ahead.
a lot nowadays. The gen times, like, they are slower. Like, they are like people that are coping and acting like the patch didn't do anything for killer, or it's insane to me. I literally used to average 2 gens for the first chase every game. 100% of the time, my first chase was going to be 2 gens.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was like a guarantee, to be honest. It was like,
and
you're losing 2.
And now 2 gens in the first chase is when I'm playing against that crack team, like that team that is gonna. When I get 2 gens in the first chase, I know I'm gonna have to play dirty. I'm like, okay, yeah, these guys they're sitting on gens. This is gonna be a game.
When I get looped and I lose 3 gens in a chase, now I'm like, okay, this is good. I have to try hard now.
Yeah,
Good
absolutely.
squad.
So I will say that.
I appreciate when it happens, because then I'm like, oh, I can just let loose now. I don't have to worry
like
about
it's a nice way of getting to, because beforehand 2 gens would probably be like, oh, they still could be clowns. I don't know.
Yeah, you don't have any clue. Did 2 people to spawn near gens? Like, am I gonna just go nasty and then they'll be at 3 gens for the rest of the game? Or
yes,
what?
exactly. yeah.
It's pretty
But now it means something. It means that they're serious. Yeah.
I would argue that the game is. I mean, I think Gary and I talked about this recently, but the game has like never been more balanced than it is right now. Maybe it was me and John that talked about it.
No, we spoke about this.
I think all 3 of us agreed. It was one of the like 7 points that we fully agreed on.
I think I think DVD's in the best shape it's ever been.
Yeah.
I think it was. I think it was until I think Hyperfocus has maybe put it. I think Hyperfocus is quite a good perk.
Yeah.
I know I'm in a minority here a little bit. I think. I don't know. I think it's slightly given the edge just back to survivors a bit more, but
I think all they're gonna nerf it, and all they have to do is make it like not work with toolboxes, or make it not work with stakeout, or
you take stakeout away. Take away when I've got 5 stacks or 4 or whatever. Like
I think they should make it not work with stakeout personally, because toolbox helps the skill checks happen, which if you can hit them, you should be rewarded. But stakeout, like automatically doing them, it just kind of takes away the fun of the perk.
What?
With that said, I still try it. I still do it.
John, you
I'm using stakeout with it, but I agree.
Take it, Gary.
I'm not just gonna say like I'm enjoying using the combo, but it doesn't feel with stakeout. It feels like a cheap win.
No,
it still makes my head go,
Gary,
yay!
Gary, if you crash
it doesn't
your car,
feel as good.
if you crash your car and your seatbelt saves your life, did you cheat to save your life? Like, I mean, it's good to have backups, man. Like, stakeout is backup. All right. If I get the 4 o'clock skill check, I want to get my great skill check. It's not fair that I have to hit an insane skill check.
Oh, do you want Dead Hard back as well, Doug? Do you want old Dead Hard back?
I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind it. You want a hot take? I wouldn't mind it. It's not that bad.
I think Dead Hard should be used automatically. I don't think you should have to press the button.
I mean, if you ask certain content creators, people are already doing that, John.
Right, you're right.
If you ask certain content, it's the Dead Hard hack. There's no way you could have timed it like that. Did you guys know? I'll tell you guys a funny story from my stream recently. I very, very infrequently, very rarely will I make a hackuzation. But I was playing against a very strong team, and I was getting dunked on, and my ego was very fragile. And this I think it was a Claudette timed a Dead Hard perfectly, and I'm like, there is no chance you timed that Dead Hard right. It's not possible. I waited so long. I did a short click. I didn't do a lunge. I tapped, and they got it. I was so upset. I was so sure that this person was hacking. They were using off the record. It was an off the record hit. It wasn't Dead Hard.
Oh,
so I had to eat crow on that one. I was embarrassed, very embarrassed.
So you shut down the stream after that?
Yeah, when I deleted my stream, and
that's why I don't play VHS now.
That's true,
because he can't be seen in Dead by Daylight anymore.
Yeah, my reputation is permanently damaged. No, the person even came into chat and we talked about it, and I was like, okay, I accused you of hacking, but I was wrong. Sorry, I know you have off the record now, so you're better than me. Have a nice night. Yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah.
Well, it's because like
Well,
we all know those hackers out there. It's difficult to sometimes.
it is hard. I don't know what stories I've told and what I haven't on the podcast, but I'll never forget. I was against Shelter Woods against this like team, and I was like, man, these guys are cracked. Like they were just hitting everything right. They were looping me at LT walls like correctly for like an entire gen's worth. I was like, how are they doing this? And then I finally I downed one of them at a pallet. The other one came in for the flashlight save. I downed them, and then I was like, oh, finally I'm getting some map pressure, some momentum. And I went to pick one of them up. They immediately DS'd me, and like 3 gens completed in the background, and they went like on hook and off hook, and I was like, oh, okay. Because like if that hadn't happened, if I hadn't beaten them there for the double down, I wouldn't have ever known that they were hacking. I would have just been like, man, these guys are just cracked. Like they're just really good, and I'm not.
I had the weirdest hack match the other last week on stream. Went into it was Ormond. They brought an offering. They immediately popped 3 gens and left.
Just 3, or they popped all 5?
Yeah, they just popped 3 gens and they escaped.
Lazy hackers didn't even do all 5 gens? Wow.
The Plague was just stood on a hill, and then the rest of us 3 just kind of, all the other 3 survivors, me included, just kind of walked and went, what do you want to do? Do you want to farm? Do you want to just kill people? I don't mind.
I appreciate that, because whenever I've gotten a hacker as killer, the other 3 survivors are just like, oh, great, free game. Let's just do whatever.
All 3 of us. The other 2 randoms just
get wrecked, dude.
And we all just approached them and started standing there and nodding, going do we play? Because I immediately got into a chase with Plague and tried to, I was like, I want to have a chase. I don't give a shit. I love Plague. One of my favorite killers to go against. And then they were like, no, just do the gen. Fair enough. I'll just get on with it.
But you got their permission first, which was nice.
Because I wouldn't have minded having a chase and going down and getting killed.
Yeah,
that'd been fine.
Because it's a busted game anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've had similar games where I don't know why they always choose Ormond. I don't know if that's
what someone in chat said. They're all burning Ormond at the moment. I'm like, why? Because it seems so weird to bring the offering and then bounce.
Is there some vulnerability to Ormond or something? Because I feel like I get hackers on Ormond 80% more than any other map.
Yeah, it's really weird. Is that like a meme?
Yeah.
Maybe the hacking community has an Ormond thing. I don't know.
We'll have to interview them.
We'll have to bring on a hacker. Can we bring on a hacker?
What if our first guest is just some hacker? They got the Guy Fawkes mask on and a voice changer.
Yeah. Well, we're here with XX Porn Lord 69420 XX, who has a 100% escape rate as survivor.
MMR
Why Ormond?
3200.
Why Ormond? He's got this scream the voice changer or whatever.
Ormond has a vulnerability that we like to look for.
That's what I was looking for. Thank you, God. I knew I could count on you. But yeah, I have noticed something recently that I think that the anti-cheat is working better. I have a lot less. I've only experienced hackers very infrequently over the last few weeks, so I don't know about your guys' experience there, but
I haven't seen one lately. No, but I did hear that Easy Anti-Cheat got an update, which makes it a little easier for hackers to be caught.
I'd be intrigued to know if the problem is they can't really tell us exactly what they changed. I'd like to know because I'm a nerd. Because I did a YouTube video about where I mentioned that they use Easy Anti-Cheat and said that it's usually used in first-person shooters, so it's interesting that they use it, and I think that's probably why there's vulnerabilities. So I'd like to know what they've adapted. Because I personally think Behavior should have a dedicated anti-cheat team that works. Don't just rely on the easy anti-cheat software. Have your own stuff as well. Because
proprietary stuff that's custom, right?
Yeah.
But it's it's a constant thing you have to deal with.
So high MMR, right? Was what we started with?
Yes, we're all high MMR. Oh, that's what I've taken.
Do we want to introduce the new segment of the podcast?
I think.
Or should we save it? Or should we save it for season 3? It's up to you.
What do we think? What do we think, Gary?
Are we talking about
the comp?
Don't say it, Gary. Don't say it.
Did I spoil it?
You can beep me. Just beep me out here.
That's true. I mean, I guess I can do some editing. I don't
Yeah.
have to just throw it up in full.
I just like it to be a little more organic, though. I don't know. I like the
Just beep
conversational
me.
nature.
Just beep it so it goes. So you're talking about
Yeah,
the
yeah.
beep.
That is.
Well, I mean,
that is what we're
he'll
talking
probably
about.
edit. I feel like John's going to edit out about 60 or 80% of what you say, anyways. Gary, so I mean, if he starts editing.
He's like putting together. I agree that it is S tier or A tier.
I'll just make a cut anytime, like before and after Gary speaks.
Yeah. Really? Gary didn't say a lot on the podcast this week. That's
It's
weird.
quiet this week.
He would just sit over there grinning for some reason.
You just put a freeze frame of one face while looking a bit stupid.
We should do that if you can't make it one week, Gary. We could just have a freeze frame up in the corner.
Yeah. We could get a stream deck with like some Gary.
What do you
clips
think,
that we
Gary?
just play every once in a
Yes,
while.
I agree. King,
Things have
John,
gone pear-shaped.
I'm popping to the shop. Mary Poppins. Tea and crumpets.
You're brown bread.
I'm from Landan.
No, but do we want to do the new segment? It's up to you, Gary. We don't have to debut
You can do
it
it if you
now.
want to. I don't mind. Would it be something
Okay.
better to end on? Because like we still have DVD stuff we could talk about. Like
We could okay.
Well,
Let's
and we
talk
do
about-
need to block off some time for other games too, right? Like,
we should-
there's plenty
well, we
to
should-
talk about here.
Maybe it should be the closing segment.
Yeah, like so if we've got time, we'll.
Okay.
I'm
We'll
glad
do
we
it for the
planned all this
closing
out
segment.
beforehand.
Yeah.
real professional.
Okay, so yeah, do we have anything more from DBD to discuss? We talked about Wesker, we talked about MMR.
RPD.
Do we
being
want to talk
in
about RPD?
huge rotation. And
I said it first.
everyone-
I said it first, Gary.
That means you win, Doug. That means you win.
I win.
Finally.
High MMR
You're high MMR in the
podcaster.
podcast.
High MMR
got
podcaster.
You got a great skill check there, Doug.
Thank fuck
Yeah.
for stakeout.
So, how long are we going to have to play on RPD for an increased percentage? And this comes
Really-
from an RPD enjoyer.
Yeah, me too. I love. Well,
At every
last
turn.
week we all discussed how we're all very happy with the RPD changes and love that map, and now this week we're like, can they make it go away for a bit?
Yeah.
Can we switch it off
It's-
for a week just because I need a
it's-
break? It's like clingy.
It's like the old ball and chain now. It's hard to enjoy it when it's constantly around.
Yeah, I think that. So I don't know if you two are achievement hunters in DBD, but they have an achievement this chapter for you have to power the exit gates and escape on RPD 20 times.
Yeah.
So and even with the density of RPD popping up, and even with using a lot of RPD offerings, I'm only at 10 so far, trying to get that achievement done. So I don't know if that's why.
See, I
it's
live
so
in bliss
frequent.
because I don't care about achievements in Dead by Daylight. The tomes I care about, I like getting those done, but achievements I don't care. RPD can go to sleep now.
Yeah. So for me, selfishly, as a completionist, I like that RPD is popping up so much, so I have so many chances to get my achievement progress.
Yeah.
But overall, I could do without playing on the same map 3-4 times in a row.
That
Constantly.
achievement's going to take forever, by the way. I don't know how, because you got to do it 20 times. How many do you have?
I have 10.
10.
I have 10.
I'm kinda curious how many I've got now.
And I am the worst teammate on RPD. Like, I will open that gate and leave immediately
Yes.
if we get 5 gens done. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. No,
For the
never been
achievement.
hooked, never been chased. I'm getting my stack. All right.
Yeah, I think I'm at 3 out of 20. So
I'm at
it's gonna
7.
take so long. Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
You guys bounce.
Gary's got the second highest MMR, it sounds like.
Well, I tend to always go for the last minute save now because I'm just tired of leaving.
Oh, see,
I
I'm
mean,
like, when was the last time they tried to save me?
So John got tired of winning. I win too much. I just need to make
yeah.
this fair for everybody else.
I love that line you say, Doug, so I just use it now. I'm like, oh, I'm getting pushed out. It's like, no one
Yeah.
around.
Okay. Yeah.
I got pushed out. Nothing I could do. Sorry.
I like to
I
think
can
the
do.
killer
You
could
never
be
know.
looking in my direction. They could
You
be
never
walking
know.
towards me.
Oblivious builds are popular, so you never know.
Oh,
They
I had a
could- you
great
could
match
have
the other
no way.
day where they went
Yeah.
for the last minute save. Someone had been slugged, and I was like, the timer, the end game collapse was like at halfway. And I was like, this Wesker's definitely got Blood Warden. So they started walking in the direction. I was like, I'm leaving. They picked up
Yeah.
that survivor. I'm out. And then I checked in, and yeah, they had Blood Warden. They all died.
Of course. Yeah.
I love it.
Been there before too. Yeah.
Oh, made me so
Oof.
happy. I love Blood
So,
Warden.
yeah,
So we agree. RPD.
yeah. I think we agree that RPD. While we all agree it was a nice rework, and the East and West are a good change. I don't know if we want to play on it that often.
I would say I love that there's like, I think behavior could maybe reduce how long they increase the rotation. I like that there is an increase because I want to play new maps. 2 days. If you don't log in on the first 2 days, you don't mind. You'll bring an offering. People still bring offerings now. Like, just the point of them.
I think first weekend. I think through the first weekend is fair.
That's 6 days. That's twice. Wait. That's 3 times as many days as Gary wanted.
Well,
because that would be 6 days.
Right,
that's like, it's quick math.
But then 2 days. Very good. This is the math cast. This is the first time we've had some great math showcased here. No, but like the first 2 days, I mean, usually new stuff comes out on Tuesday, so that just gives people through Thursday, and I think it's good to give people the weekend because not everyone's like us where they just like play during the week constantly.
As long as it goes away Sunday. I don't want to see it Monday as well.
Yeah. Well, I was kind of thinking. I mean, this is just us shooting the shit. Like,
yeah. No one cares what we say.
They're not gonna make changes based on our feedback.
So
but
Gary, are Mondays weekends in the UK or?
Half the time, yeah. Bank holiday Monday is a thing most of the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I
don't think that they even need to increase it as much as they do, though, either, right? We could just maybe see it a little more frequently, but not.
Yeah, like I'm seeing it 3 out of 4 games is RPD.
Yeah.
Just make it so I'm playing it like once every 4 matches. I'm seeing it. Like I suppose that it's good for people that only play 2 or 3 matches because they get to experience it. I mean, maybe not everyone plays it for 4 to 12 hours a day.
Right.
But
I like
can you imagine someone not playing it that much?
Yeah, Gary
Dude,
just
we
put
really want to hear from
the
that.
Gary and Running Man Spectrum 4 and 12
That's
hours,
what I put it to.
You're 4
That's
and I'm
me
12.
and
Yeah.
Doug.
Yeah, exactly. Seems reasonable.
But like it's just a little increase, but not to the extent that it's.
I think something else that if you play a lot of Survivor, I think that another frustration is that not only are you seeing RPD a lot, but you're also seeing Wesker like every game. So there's like if you're playing Survivor, there's like no variety. It's just Wesker's
which
on
is a shame
RPDs
because
forever.
obviously DVD's greatest strength is variety.
Yeah,
why
it's the best thing about playing. It's the best thing about playing Survivor is that you have so many different killers you can.
Yeah,
burst
so
and
the
every match feels
first
different.
thing is like, is that a pyramid head? Is that a Deathslinger?
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's a doctor.
I faced
but when
twins
it's every time
the other day.
I know every time I see a
twins.
fight of twins, I say a fight like every time I face a twins, I light up. I get so excited because they're so rare. But then every match at the moment you just go, oh, it's Wesker again. Oh, I wonder what build they've got. It's like you know what the build's gonna be.
Meanwhile, I'm like, it's a Wesker again. Stakeout stacks. Let's go.
For the hyper-focus build,
I am a hyper-focus one trick now. Hyper-focus stakeout every game. I love it. I love the mini game. It's so satisfying to hit great skill checks and have them do something.
Well, not hit them.
I talked about this.
Sometimes I don't.
We talked about this last week, hyperfocus, and I will say I continued the experiment of playing solo this time with hyperfocus, stakeout, commodious, wire spool toolbox, and I was amazed at how low my escape rate was.
Yeah.
See, I'm having the opposite effect. Like I'm escaping quite well, but I'm the gen jockey most of the time because I can't trust any of them to actually do a gen. So I just run around doing the gens. Like one match, I actually did all 5 of them. I did all 5 gens. I was fuming.
Yep.
So angry.
That sounds about right. Well, like my experience would be like I would like do a gen with hyperfocus stakeout really quickly, and I'd be like, great. Now we're gonna have another gen pop.
Wait for it.
Yeah.
Wait for it.
And it just never happened. And I'd be like, well, I used up like half my toolbox to blaze through that gen.
I'm not taking the toolbox though. I'm just kind of like, I just bring stakeout and hyperfocus, and the rest is like sprint burst and quick and quiet or something. Something I can actually like get around with.
Yeah. I piss people off a lot because I say this a lot, but I play a high MMR, clearly.
No way.
And I play during really.
How many
bad
hours do you have, Doug?
I have a virtual stockpile of hours. I play during very sweaty time of night. I play at night, and I feel like I've had hyper focus lose me a game like hyper-focus stakeout, like the whole... People talk like they play against it every game, and it's oppressive, right? I think I've lost...
I'm not seeing that many people bring it.
I don't see it that often, and I don't see it... I see hyper-focus stakeout a lot in endgame screens that I 4K'd in. I'm like, oh, they had hyper-focus stakeout. I wouldn't even have known, you know? And maybe it's because... I don't know if you guys know this, but brand new part is bugged with it right now. Oh, so if you use a brand new part, you can't use stakeout for great skill checks afterwards.
Oh,
interesting.
So if you start your hyper focus gen with brand new part, you get the 2 hyper focus stacks for the 2 great skill checks on BMP. But then after that, you have to keep hitting the greats because stakeout won't work. It's like bugged.
That's a good bug though.
That's a good bug.
Yeah, maybe
don't
just
worry
keep
about
it,
fixing that one.
Maybe just keep it in, right? Yeah, because it doesn't really stack together. BMP and hyper focus stakeout doesn't work together. So I don't know. Maybe that's intended. Maybe it's not a bug.
I was about to turn controversial, then I stopped myself.
Why not just full send it?
Or they could just take brand new parts out of the game.
You know, it's honestly, I wouldn't be against it. I never use them anyway.
Yeah. What do they? I only bring them when I'm in a Swift and everyone's like bringing them. It's just like, let's be dickheads and ruin this match by having a really strong advantage. They don't add anything to the base game, in my opinion. So it wouldn't be the end of the world if they just removed them.
I don't think I've lost to a brand new part.
There are survivor mains
in months
screaming at the screen.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. First dead hard, now brand new part. What's next?
I don't know. I don't see Twitter threads full of survivor mains being like, brand new part must be protected at all costs. I love brand new part.
No one's talking about getting rid of it.
No,
it's because I don't think it's really that impactful. I don't think I've lost a game to a brand new part I can't remember. I don't know.
That's because I don't think anyone really brings them. It's actually usually the stupidest survivor that brings it, isn't it? You're like the lowest score. Like you brought a brand new part and a map offering, and you DC'd. Idiot.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I think it says a lot that even today I see killer mains complain more about boons than I do about brand new part. And I think it says everything. And brand new part, like, I mean, you look at it and on paper you're like, this is busted, right? But I think they just don't run into it that much.
Yeah.
And there's plenty to counter it too. It's only really good if you can stay on the gen through the whole toolbox. Yeah. You know, and if you get a lot of stuff running people off gens these days, and then deadman switch.
Oh my god! Like definitely MMR being a nightmare, just the way it is. Where sometimes I'm on a gen, they hear Wesker's terror radius, which is he's on the other side of the map, and they just run, and you're like, where are you going?
And they scatter in different directions, just panic. Somebody throws shack pallet. They're just, God, it's...
Yeah. Like someone pitched a ball into a bunch of pigeons and they just fly off. It's like...
Yeah.
I think that's a good counterpoint for hyperfocus, too, is like, it's really only busted if you sit there on the gen and you're like banging through it and you don't get interrupted. You don't get interrupted by, pain resonance, dead man switch, or the killer like just gen patrolling and you have to get off of it. Or...
It's a good point. It does also, maybe it's a good thing because it encourages killers to actually go patrol generators. At times I go against a killer like, there was nothing I could do. I'm like, you could have patrolled generators. What are you talking about? Like you sat at one hook at 3 gens left and let us finish the other ones. Like, of course you lost. Weirdo.
Because like, I did notice that in my hyper-focus games, it's like, very rarely would I get the ideal, like, 1 stack, 2 stack, 6 stacks,
6 stack does feel pretty good, doesn't it?
It felt really good when it happened, but it was pretty rare. And most of the time, it was like, I would get like 2 stacks, and then I would get run off the gen, or it would get blocked.
When you've got 6 stacks and you've got like 2 stake out things, you're like, oh, it's so satisfying. You can just look at the progress bar. You don't have to look at the great skill check on it. You hit it. Like, you see this big dunk. Like,
no, see, if you were a winner, Gary, if you were a winner, you'd be going for the greats to save stake out for the next gen.
Nah, I want to see that little bar go up so I can be like, yeah, the impact I'm having.
Yeah.
And if you really want to feel it, bring fast track. Oof.
Yeah, my experience with hyper-focus stakeout, built to last is really strong too. But my experience is, it's very infrequent that I get optimal hyper-focus gens done. Like you said, you get ran off a lot, or somebody, like your teammate misses a skill check, or so they have jolt, or they have dead man switch, scourge, pain hook.
Right.
So yeah, it's just, it doesn't really feel like the perfect storm comes together to slam out a 50-second gen very often.
It's probably stronger early game than it is late game. When you get down to the 3-4 gens being left and the killer is able to actually patrol, Whereas it's like it's probably good for the first 2 gens, which you're gonna lose anyway, ain't you? So
True.
Yeah, but like you don't really. I mean, unless you're waiting around a lot, you don't really have stakeout stacks early.
Not unless you're facing Wesker. I think another thing too is that when Wesker isn't played in every other match, you probably won't see as many returns on stakeout as you were. Yeah. I know that I got some Sadikos, I got some Wraiths, and those they really like hard.
Oh yeah, as soon as you're against a stealth gear, like I keep seeing Michael recently.
Ghost Face,
I think Spooky Luke's made a YouTube video about it, about Wesker build, about Maya's build. So I keep bumping into him now, and it's like, oh, I'm not going any stacks.
Oh, the vault build.
Don't you mean Spooky Loops copied a video about
Demi?
So I saw the tweet.
That big controversy.
Hello? Wow, I didn't think we were going to talk about this, but
we need to have Tony on here to talk about that.
I would love to hear his side. I'd love to hear his side because right now I'm disgusted. You know?
Yeah. For season 3, we'll have Tony on and we'll be like, "Thanks for joining us." So, you copied Demi's video.
Yeah, tell us about stealing YouTube.
And then after they've made their point, and we've got another guest on.
Yeah, it's Demi. What do you have to say for yourself? We won't do that, but it would be fun.
Become like the DVD drama location.
Yeah, our surprise guest could be Loop Lord X9 420, who is the one who broke this story. Like, oh, you copied someone else, and we'll bring him on too.
Yeah, we'll have him on. Like, do you accept his explanation?
Do you accept blame?
All right, so
DVD.
That wraps DVD, yeah?
I think so. There's nothing really. I mean, we could talk about incentives.
I mean, we don't have to.
We were going to talk about the matchmaker. Yeah, I did want to talk about the matchmaker. Yeah. That's my real concern. People are talking about perks and they're talking about Wesker, and what I'm upset about is that I want to play killer. I'm a killer main. I prefer to play killer, and at this point, killer queues especially during the times I play, are so oppressive. I can't do it anymore. I can't wait 10 minutes in queue to play killer anymore.
Well, even at like my time, like it takes between 5 and 10 minutes to find a match.
Yeah,
and I'm playing like in the evening UK time. Like there should be people online.
And there are, and those people that are online are playing killer apparently because queues are insane. And
I've only seen the bonus points go to killer once, and it was plus 25% blood points.
Yeah, I got plus 50 once for like 2 games, and then it went back to 0.
Yeah,
and the whole time that they've had the incentives, this has been on Survivor.
Yeah,
yeah. I think it'll settle down.
Is it bugged again?
I think it'll settle down once Wesker gets less popular than he is now.
Maybe. Will he get less popular though, or did they just create a bunch of Wesker mains and now the homeostasis of the matchmaker is thrown into disarray?
I mean, I think he'll last. I think like Nemesis is still around. I think Nemesis is arguably the most successful new killer since maybe Wesker.
DLC killer, yeah. I still see a few Nemesi here and there.
Lots of Nemesi. But we are both Nemesis lovers ourselves, so
true, absolutely. Yeah, I agree. I would really like it. I think I tweeted about my take on if high MMR killer was so hard, my queues wouldn't be 10 minutes. Everybody's still playing killer, but I would love more than anything for them to fast track those survivor buffs they were talking about for solo queue.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
they can't come
to maybe make the survivor experience more acceptable for
if they can bring Swift gameplay closer to solo queue in some way, with some way of communicating, pings, something.
Yeah,
I think they'll find it so much easier to balance perks.
I'm just gonna say, oh god.
They already have a ping system in the game with Crystal Bead on the map. They could just literally let you do that without Crystal Bead. Like you get a couple of pings per minute, it's like 3. You can just be like, somebody's on the hook, you can just ping, be like, I'm over here. And they see that big beam of light up in the sky, and then you know where the teammate is.
I want something similar to, and we'll talk about VHS maybe next, but like their system of like knowing what people are doing, where they are.
Yeah,
it's really good.
Just balance the game around that, please. I'm begging you. Make killer harder so these guys that are just one-tricking Wesker and proud of themselves.
Poor Doug is becoming a survivor main because
I know,
like killer's too easy.
Dude. Killer is very
Hold W,
easy.
put on hook. It's not tough, guys.
Killer's pretty easy right now, and the queue times are indicative of that because it's too easy. I liked it back. I miss Killer being hard, and then I would just get instant queues all the time.
I do miss the. It's weird to complain about it, but when you'd play Killer and 3 gens would pop, and then it was just like the pace was so fast.
No,
Dude, I'd have missed that.
I'd rather lose fast than win slow.
Yeah, winning those
true.
really tough, quick
True.
matches where it was like, oh, it felt so good.
Yeah, like when 3 gens would pop and you'd have one hook and you'd be like, oh shit, and then you'd buckle down and then you just start snowballing and start bringing
still
it back
happens,
at the
like, don't get me
end.
wrong, like-
it still happens, yeah.
Because I think survivors have adapted well. Like a lot of the time, when I play Killer, I'm not the most sweaty at the start, and then like 3 gens pop, and I go, right, fair enough, right, suffer.
Yeah.
You slug, you stay there whilst I kill your friends. They're over there.
Yeah, the short version is I just want them to make Killer harder so less people will play Killer and I will have faster queues. Please behavior for me personally. Could you do that?
Motive. Yeah.
So, that's
We found out.
and again, we're about to start talking about VHS, but that's something that's nice about VHS is that the monster experience in VHS is very challenging and thus people don't want to play it as much. Thus my queues are always fast.
And at the moment, I've got to say, queue times generally pretty good in VHS.
Yeah.
Should we talk about VHS
Absolutely.
next?
I think it's the perfect segue into VHS.
I've been chomping at the bit to talk about VHS. I'm obsessed, guys.
I'm excited.
So there's a new monster in town. You want to talk about that, Doug? Because
I would love to talk about Deathwire, the newest monster in the VHS roster. He is a battle robot. He comes with the new map, the Eviscerator. And his kit has got to be amongst the most fun kits out of any killer in any horror asym I've played. Super fun. So his Q ability is drift mode, which makes him move, I think, 20% faster at base.
20% is correct, yeah.
He goes on a little
so
unicycle.
Yeah,
it's really cool. The first time I saw it coming towards me, I shit myself. I was like, "What is that?"
It's so good.
He's jump scared me a few times, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, and so basically he's able to close the map faster. He travels the map faster, but then as a byproduct of that, a side bonus is that being able to move so quickly and drift boost around makes him really hard to hit if you're trying to hit him with a weapon. With a
Ah, that's interesting.
You can use it defensively, but at the cost of you're pretty defenseless when you're in drift mode. You can't use your shock.
You can't attack, right?
Yeah,
Right.
you can attack. You can attack, but it has to switch modes first. So there's like a cooldown.
Yeah.
So
So it takes like 2 seconds, and you're basically vulnerable.
You can't instant attack out of the drift mode. So you have to either hard swap by pressing Q again, or if you M1, it'll automatically swap you, but it takes a second. You can't use your E, but the E ability is the shock sphere. I think it's called shock sphere.
Yeah.
Gary, do you have the notes?
I think it's called Voltage Vise.
Voltage Vice. That was what I said,
wow.
right?
Yeah.
I think I said that.
Yeah,
We'll
that's
put
what
it
you
in
said.
post, I think.
I prefer. What did you call it before?
Shock sphere, which is
that sounds
which is actually
better.
It's
That
actually
sounds
a
better.
teen weapon. It's actually a teen weapon, and
okay.
I sound like an idiot. But moving along,
okay.
Voltage Vice is a ranged attack that disables the teen's ability to basically do anything. They can't use their weapons. They can't do anything for 2.7 seconds. They're just
and it slows them down.
yeah, they're not
down.
immobilized, but they are slowed down. They are hindered.
Yeah,
so to speak.
yeah.
And they also do a really funny like robot.
Yeah, I really like the little
I really like
animation
their
that happens with
little
it.
electrocuted little dance
Yeah.
that they do.
And they make a very loud noise, and then they move slower. So it's
And it
really
hits
good
through
for
walls.
closing and chase. It does.
Yeah, it's very like Doctor.
Yeah, it denies
is.
vaults just like the Doctor does too. They can't vault a window if they're voltage viced. So yeah, he does have some Doctor feeling elements to him in that way that you can shut
He
down
laughs less.
strong loops. He does. He has some great voice lines though. He talks some good
does.
shit. I'm a fan.
He laughs after a
and then
4K.
He does. Yeah. What is it called? Win rate 100%. Straight out of my title. I hate it.
Yeah.
And then his last ability is a scan, which we'll talk about this more. But basically, you can scan in an area. It covers the entire map in that area, and it'll give you if there are teens in that area, it'll give you a little. They're exposed.
Yeah.
You get the auras for a
Beam
number of
Matrix exposes them for 3 seconds. Quite good.
seconds.
Mhm.
Scary good.
God, this nerd in his numbers. You know all these numbers.
I just wanted
play-
the important numbers. I don't know like the intricate cooldown. I don't care.
Yeah.
But it's the 3 seconds of exposed. That's interesting. Sorry,
Yeah.
Doug.
No, it's okay.
No,
It's
that's a
just I
good
play with
idea.
my heart, not with my brain, so I don't need to know numbers.
It's a good idea.
That's why I'm
Those
doing it
numbers
for
are
you. I'm doing it to
I
help.
feel it while you think it. So
Gary's like
but
your
overall-
secretary, Doug.
Oh, I like that. I like. Can we make that
I'm
official?
gonna get some glasses and
Yeah. Hold my calls, Gary. I'm
A
playing
low-cut
VHS.
shirt.
Yeah. Okay. No. Yeah. So, Deathwire, my initial. I've played him for probably 30 hours already. I know. I'm gross. When I fixate on something. I mean, there's a reason I have 11,000 hours in DVD. I just play. So I play off stream as well as on stream. I feel he feels really good to play. The general consensus I've gotten from veterans, people that have been playing the game since closed beta, is that Deathwire is actually the weakest monster in the game at higher levels of competition. When people are all competent, he is weaker. He has very limited defensive capability. His power is exploitable, especially if your team has 3-4 weapons and they group up. Not group up literally, because they group up, you can shock everybody at once, but if they group up in an area and spread out.
They like hide behind corners and they prepare.
Yeah,
it's like, I'm bringing him to you guys.
I had a team last night that literally cut off every escape angle for me, and I just got completely pinched. Like there was the stairway was covered, the door was covered, the bat behind me was covered.
You crumble.
They were
like,
everywhere.
No!
Yeah, they were everywhere, and I was just I just like a Thanos snap. I just turned into dust. And it was just over. But you're not going to find that a lot. You're not going to find teams like that very often either. So I'm winning a lot with him, despite him being weaker. But I also main Werewolf, which was the previous weaker monster in the game, I think. So.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
I've only gone up against Deathwire so far. I haven't had a chance to play him, but I did get the impression that he'd probably be a little weak against a squad, but against random solos that aren't communicating, because of his mobility, quite good, because he can get between the crafting tables quite quickly, and
I
the
think
shots can be quite oppressive, and the scan makes him able to like figure out where he needs to go. So he's definitely got his strengths, but I think I can
he's
agree with him
extremely
being
strong. Extremely strong in a 1v1 situation. But against good teams, you're not going to be in 1v1s very often.
No.
So
People will be in
He's-
duos, if not
Yeah.
as a 4 stack running around.
he'll struggle versus multiple players with good spacing 100% of the time. So
Right.
But the cool thing about VHS is how well balanced the game is, and how fun. Like I feel like when you play it as maybe Trapper or Myers on DVD, one of the weaker killers in DVD, you feel helpless and miserable, right? Like you're trying to stop the game, you slow the game down, and you just can't.
Yeah.
But with a weaker monster in VHS, you still feel like you get to play VHS. It's still fun, I think. I don't feel the game's getting too out of hand.
So is the general consensus for killer tiers in VHS? Is it like Dollmaster top, then Wart, then Werewolf?
Is Dollmaster not top?
Absolutely not. No, not against an organized
Really?
team. Especially now, they nerfed him too. They nerfed Dollmaster quite a bit.
So Wart is considered strongest.
Ward is absolutely the strongest.
His
against an
shield is very
organized
strong.
squad,
I
yeah.
thought Dollmaster was still considered the strongest, because he's
I thought so too. Yeah.
Dollmaster.
Nightmare.
Well, you guys probably think that because you're newer. And
maybe.
he's like a Myers like pub stomper. He'll destroy new teams.
I find the reason that I find it so difficult is because the match takes so long that I lose interest. I've been in this match for like 15 minutes.
Right.
It's exhausting.
I'm going crazy.
He's just very, very easy to counter when a team is experienced and communicating well. And that goes for solos that actually utilize the pings and the in-game voice, as well as organized teams. He's just really his vulnerabilities are exposed very easily by a strong team, but you won't face those very often. So Dollmaster is still an excellent killer, or monster, but at the highest levels it goes Wart, and then like Dollmaster and Werewolf are both kind of at the same level, I think, below Wart tier, and then Deathwire is like kind of bringing up the bottom right now.
Although Deathwire is new, so maybe.
But again, it could also be a lot like when we talk about with the DVD tiers. Like they're all so close together. It's like picking nits when you're trying to figure out who's the best, right? Like,
Right.
Low S.
And
Low
He's high
S,
A.
and also like it's so like new that the meta probably hasn't settled very much yet. Right?
Oh yeah, no,
Things
no.
could
Again,
change.
they tell me that, and again, I'm not just saying this off. I've played the game a fair amount, but I'm not saying this off. I've talked to people that have legitimately over 1,000 hours in VHS, like between closed beta and early access. And this is the information I'm getting, is that at the highest levels, Ward is going to always be the king for right now. And then so it'd be like Ward is S, and then like Dollmaster is A, Werewolf is B and Deathwire is C, but all of those are split by like they're just so close to each other.
Yeah,
like,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Actually, it's a nice segue that you brought up the 1,000 hours thing because I had a couple observations about VHS after playing it some more this week, and one of my complaints with it is that in matchmaking, you know, I'm a brand new player to VHS. Like I just started, you know, the Friday before when we played together, Doug. And I played it some solo last week, and I was getting put in these games, you know, with people that had clearly 1,000 hours or more. They just knew, it's like they knew the maps backwards and forwards. They had like tactics that they clearly tried game after game. And I even played some Killer for the first time. I played some Wart, and I got my ass
That's
handed
S
to
tier,
me.
by the way, John.
Yeah, well, I'm surprised. I picked him because it said easy, and because people in my chat were like, "Yeah, he's a good starter monster." Like, so I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
So he's usually the starter monster is not the strongest, but wow, it was a rude awakening. I think I lost my first game in like 4 minutes or something like that. Because I've just, you know, I'm used to playing DVD Killer. I am not used to playing defensively with the monster. So I would just charge around corners in pursuit of one of the survivors, and I would just get blasted. And I would get stun locked, and I'd be like, oh shit, I need to get out of here. I wouldn't have my shield up, and then, you know, one stigma gone. And that just happened like basically 4 times in a row. I did get a couple downs, but it was hard though, because like the survivors that I was playing against were clearly very experienced. Because they were sticking with each other. There was never anybody by themselves, really. And it was like they were setting up traps constantly for me to just walk into. My second game went a bit better because I was more prepared for that. But still, there were situations where I was just like, how am I supposed to? Because they would have that like one turret stigma set up.
Oh, those
like
things,
like to cover the backside, and they'd be out like on the balcony in the mansion. And then they would just have weapons out there, and it would be like, "Come on!" And I'd be like, "I don't know how am I supposed to go in there?" And I'd be like, "Oh, I'm gonna shield up and just like charge in." And then of course they'd have multiple weapons, and I'd be like, "Well, I just take one stigma no matter what." But it was frustrating going against very experienced players because I was like, "Man, I'm just trying to learn how to play the monster," and I feel like I'm just getting thrown into like high MMR DBD. You know?
I'd like to interject really fast. I don't want to cut you off, but so I have a story that relates very, very directly to this. So you guys know I've been streaming a ton of VHS. Like it's been kind of my new obsession. I probably streamed it for 15 hours in the last week.
Yeah.
I've been really encouraging people to download the game. It's early access. It's free to play.
Yeah.
Like download the game, try it out for the first time. Like this is a great time to get into the game. We got a new monster, a new map. The queues are great. So I had someone in my chat, a brand new person, be like, "Oh, I would love to check it out." They downloaded it, set it up. Their second match, I got them in game. They were one of my teens. I have 150
And Doug
hours.
destroyed them and made sure they didn't play
dodged.
again.
They dodged. They dodged. They saw it was me. They're like, "I don't want to play. I've been watching you play for the last 2 days. I don't want to play against you. You're good at this game." And so to me, that's indicative of maybe an issue. Like if a brand new player is ending up in my lobby, I know it's hard to matchmake when you have such a small.
I was going to say the difficulty is they just don't have the player base, and that's kind of down to the launch.
Yeah, and we can talk. Yeah, we can talk about that a little bit more later. But my point being with the matchmaker is that you're gonna end up finding yourself in matches with very experienced players, and the skill floor in VHS is very high. I think. I think that the skill floor, it's very hard it's very hard to get that initial. Like I tell people, this is gonna sound terrible to people that are hobbyist gamers, but like you're gonna need 100 hours. Probably minimum before you're going to really feel comfortable playing Monster.
Yeah.
You know, and that doesn't matter if you came from DVD or not. DVD teaches you bad habits in VHS. You don't. It's almost
I would agree with that. It was only like my 4th or 5th Killer game where I was like, okay, I'm starting to understand. You play very differently.
Yeah.
Like, you've got to really like DVD, all of that, throw that shit away. Different game altogether.
Because last week in season 1, y'all mentioned that it was similar to like Rainbow Six Siege. And after playing a few killer matches, I get it now. Because there is a lot of like corner camping that goes on when you play Monster that I was not prepared for.
The rat plays. All the starter weapons are silent. All the starter weapons are silent to activate. So when you come around a corner or walk through a doorway, there can always be somebody waiting with a holy cross or a flamethrower.
So the cross is my favorite weapon. It just feels like
same. God, it feels so good.
The cross is awesome. Yeah.
I don't know why anybody would use anything else in the holy line because cross is so nasty.
Yeah, I tried the slingshot and did not like that.
Yeah,
did not like that one.
I like the helicopter as well. The energy helicopter, that's one of my favorites. It's very satisfying.
It's very annoying to play against. So I got chased by 3 the other night at the same time. It was like a drone strike. I was like, I can't. There's nowhere to go. They're cutting everything.
The Valkyries are after you.
Yeah, it was really funny.
I also feel like on that note, like in VHS, like it seems like because every time I was playing Survivor, it felt like I was in a solo queue game. Like there was no coordination at all. There maybe was like a duo there that were in sync with each other, but there was no coordination with the rest of us. And when I played Monster, I feel like the 4 survivors were like on the same page because they would do stuff like we're talking about, like they would corner me, they would like cut me off, or they would set traps for me, and they would just kind of wait. Right. And I'd be like, oh damn, this is like such a different experience from what I had on the other side as Survivor.
Yeah.
Where we would all split up, you know, and just go down one by one.
I would suspect that the majority of people that play Survivor might do it with their friends because playing Survivor on your own in VHS is honestly, even playing it with one other person, I don't really enjoy it.
Yeah.
So like, I'd be surprised if most people are like, I'm gonna go play solo queue VHS. I'm gonna go play solo. It feels more punishing than solo queue DVD.
It is worse than solo queue DVD, I would say. Yeah,
I agree 100%. Like you feel it's like it's so much harder to have an individual impact, I think, in a game like VHS than it is in a game where all you have to do is sit on. If you sit on gens, you're helping.
I say like I had solo queue. I just did 5 gens. I was like, I'll just do all the gens whilst you guys all
do them.
And they all died, and I got out the hatch. Like,
but to have individual impact as a team in VHS, you have to be real good. You got to get a weapon crafted, and then you got to find a vulnerability, and then get a hit like all 1v1. It's hard to do. People can do it. I've seen team players that are good enough to do it, but it's like, again, the skill floor and the skill ceiling are just like completely different in VHS. Like it's insane.
Which I worry about for like them growing a player base, because I think DBD, a lot of it, you can play DBD on your own. Like it's more fun with friends. I love solo queue, but
they just need more players. They just need more players. I think that the bottom, low MMR and mid MMR will settle out, and the game will be fun for more casual people because everybody will be bad, and it'll just be really exciting and action packed.
Right.
Like the monsters will just dive into rooms, and they'll be able to hit people with stuff, and it'll all shake out. I don't think that the game will be hard locked to like high MMR gameplay. I had a game last night that went like 24 minutes. It was insane.
Was it Legion?
And I won a monster. No, it was a VHS match.
I had to check it.
No, it wasn't a Legion match. Yeah, no. I get your joke now. Sorry, that totally whooshed. But yeah, and it was like
wasn't
super.
A Legion match.
I was playing a VHS, idiot.
I literally said that. Yeah, that's kind of how it was. The whole attitude. My bad, bro. But no, it's like I think at the higher MMR game, and these were all really good. I mean, they came in the stream after we talked about it. They were good players. It was 5 of us that were all pretty good at the game, and it was a back and forth. I literally hit everybody the maximum amount of times to get them all busted. It was like super sweaty game, and when I won, barely won. It was at like one stigma. It was at one stigma, and the person that I 1v1 had the stigma they needed to get me and couldn't, and I just managed to defeat them. I was playing Deathwire, and he's really good 1v1, so I was lucky. I felt lucky to win. It was very evenly matched, and that gameplay is fun and exciting, but I don't see that kind of stuff happening a lot lower in mid MMR. I think that the games will be over a lot faster, for better or worse on both sides. So
yeah, well, I really do hope that the game gets more of a casual player base, like moving in, and I think they're. You know, if they keep updating the game, I think it'll happen. I just think right now the game is very competitive, and if you go in as a new player, it's just difficult to get into. You have to be really patient. I mean, I do plan on playing it more. I'm not dropping it, so because I want to get better at the game. And especially I've been like maining Jess on teen, and then I finally last week I was like, let's look at the other perks, and then I looked at Brett's perks, and I was like, oh, I should be playing Brett because he's got all the perks I want. Like I was looking,
tanky,
I was like,
man.
Oh my god, yeah.
Brett's my main. I think I got him like 77. He's so good. His perks are so good.
18% more health for the first 3 minutes. I was like, why would I not take that? That's like amazing.
I think Vice Grip is one of my favorite perks in the game, where you get to keep your weapon when you get down.
Yes, that too.
Yeah, I do want that. I do want that.
You can defend yourself when you get picked up. It's so nice because that's one of the main ways to get. When I get farmed in solo queue, I rage. They pick me up and I instantly get downed again.
Yes,
it's nice to have a weapon to defend yourself.
Definitely. Yeah, but I mean, unlocking those perks and stuff, that's going to take a lot of hours.
Yeah, it's the time that I don't want to have to like constantly play one character forever just to get. It's not. I don't know.
It would help to have aura points be universal.
Yeah,
I agree. I don't know. I don't understand.
I want to be able, like, if I want to play killer, I want to be able to earn stuff that I can then put into my like.
Exactly.
We'll talk about Evil Dead in a little bit, but I like Evil Dead system.
Yeah, Evil Dead system is pretty good. DVD system is fantastic.
Yeah,
the ability to, if they really want queue incentives to work, you need to be able to spend point. Nobody that's a teen main cares about leveling up their Dollmaster or their Deathwire, right?
Yeah,
so if they're playing Monster and they're able to take those aura points and put them into a teen, like, I think you would see more people spending more time playing both sides. Whereas, and then the other thing is too, when new monsters come out, I don't think it's so much a problem with Deathwire because there's such a low player base now. But think about VHS in a year or two. When a new monster comes out and literally every teen main is fully maxed out and capped at teen with perks and experience, and you're taking a brand new monster in and being like, okay.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like, I'm a little, like, I've played Killer a little bit in that game because I think it's quite stressful, but it's quite exhilarating. But every Killer I've played, like, my I forget the guy's name, the green hair. That's the side. Like, he's all right level. Killer, I was going in like level 1. I had to just deal with survivors that already had stuff. It was just tough. Yeah. And like, I wish I could somehow use my survivor experience points to make it like a little less punishing to like pick up Killer. Because well, as you were saying, John, like your first Killer match was kind of deflating, probably. Like, maybe you go, I guess I just suck over fast entirely. Whereas, you know, it's nice to be able to balance it out a little bit because you had some experience in the game. Like, I don't know, make it a little less fun. Like in DVD, now the new blood web system and the new way of unlocking perks, Wesker was like, I've got most of them already. Sweet, I can just play him. Mm-hmm. I can just put perks on what I want. Worst case, I can just use, just stick overcharge here, Call of Brian. Like, it was nice.
If you already got your account leveled up pretty good on Killer and DVD, like 2 million blood points, I capped out on perks in 2 million. I had everything already on Wesker. Yeah, Day one, match one, I had access to every perk in the game.
Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah. It's amazing to be able to just play Wesker and not have to I've got nothing. The new system where like you're very early on, like
agreed.
Oh, there's nowhere. That's a default useful perk.
Yeah, I agree. And again, I don't think it's too limiting now because the player base is so small. So it's like everybody's still kind of, and there's a lot of new players in VHS, so it's fine. But like, I think in the future it'll be a problem for a monster to come out day one, level 1, perkless, hopeless. Having to face esports teams that are like fully optimized and they got everything leveled up. They have all the perks, all the teachable perks. So they're just like, they have perfect builds, and it's gonna be really rough. Yeah. And I ran into that problem a little. I played a little Evil Dead. And I had I played Plaguebringer, the new demon, and I just felt really, the teams I was going against were all just completely decked out.
I think I was watching your stream when you were doing that. It's like, they need to fix that. Should we segue into Evil Dead now?
Yeah, sure.
Is there anything else about VHS? I will say one more thing about the VHS. The new map is awesome. I love it.
It is really cool.
And the chase music for Deathwire.
Great.
Fantastic.
No,
good.
I'm not a robot guy. Like, whenever somebody's like, well, look at this cool
True,
robot,
John's
I'm
real.
like, I just don't really care. I'm more about like organic like monsters and characters usually. But I really like Deathwire. Like, I liked playing against him. I liked watching footage of him being played. I haven't played him myself yet. But he seems like a really cool character, and I'm excited for what he means for future killer designs for VHS. I think it's promising.
Yeah, I love him. I'm gonna, as soon as the podcast ends, I'm probably gonna go play him again. I'm really addicted. But I do agree with what you said, John, earlier about the game needs more content, because as you can see with this content drop, now queues, because queues were a huge problem for VHS.
Yeah,
before
queues are
this.
much better
Right.
at the moment. It's
They
nice.
we were trying to play,
incredible.
we would try to play teen, and it would literally be 10, 15-minute queues, and it was unplayable on stream. It drove me crazy. But
I remember,
now,
I remember when I was doing my YouTube video about VHS, Evil Dead, and DVD, and like trying to record Survivor in that, or Teen. I had like recordings of like 15 minutes queue time. I was like, should I just use this to prove a point?
Right.
awful. But as of right now, with them releasing the monster on its own, queue times have gotten way better. A lot of new players are playing, and again, the map designs are incredible. Like
the new
every
map.
map in that game is good. Like full stop. Like I have no complaints about. I dislike the school the most as a monster player, just because the school has some really good loops. But even that, it's like the worst map in VHS is better than the best map in DVD. There, I said it. Plain and simple. Yep.
I don't know if I would
There,
agree. I will say, from a visual perspective and world building, I really like the level design in VHS. I think Wart's level is my favorite because
Same.
I love the scratch
Facility,
mark
yeah.
on the facility. I love that he's broken out. I
Oh,
love the little storytelling
yeah.
things around it. It reminds me very much of Overwatch, where like Overwatch has really good storytelling in their level design. I think VHS nails that as well. I really want to see the new level more because there's so many interesting areas, like things that have been knocked over. It's like the robot being built in certain rooms. It's really, really cool. So I think their level design is really cool in terms of just a visual perspective. I think sometimes I do agree with you. I think the school has some very strong loops on it.
This is a quick
So does Eviscerator too. People just haven't figured them out yet.
Oh yeah,
quick question
I
related
have no
to
idea what
maps.
to do on that map.
Can you make custom games in VHS?
Not yet.
Damn.
That would be
No,
good.
yes.
That would be
I think
very
it's
good.
coming, but not yet.
I would like to. First of all, I just like more practice against like friends and stuff before I just go out and get smashed in pubs. But I'd also like to just load it up and like look around the maps because I feel like as soon as you drop into VHS, it's business time. You know, like,
yeah.
in
They don't give you
Survivor,
time.
In Survivor, you might have some downtime to be like, oh, look at this. That's really cool. Anyway, I'm going to get on. Or like while you're on the gen, you can look around a little bit more because they're usually more open areas where you can see.
The amount of times you
further.
start a match, you just all four survivors like start nodding at each other because no one's that rushed to crack on with the.
Right.
Doesn't really
It's
matter.
like it's that party game atmosphere. But VHS is like you spawn in, like time to get on a bench, you know? And then the benches are usually in very enclosed areas, so you don't have much line of sight, so you can't really like look around the map that much. So I'd like to be able to
when I was
load
getting
into a
chased on the
custom-
new map, I was like looking around going, this looks so cool, whilst I'm being chased by Deathwire,
Right.
hearing that wheel coming up behind me, panicking. I'm like, it looks cool.
Yeah. You could explore it as the Spectral at least.
That is true.
Yeah.
But then
You'll
at
spend
that
a lot of time-
point,
you'll
I'm like trying to
your
get
first-
my stuff rezzed up as quickly as possible so I can get picked up.
Well,
When
your
I'm
first 10
dead.
games, you're gonna spend a lot of time as a Spectral, so you get a lot of time to get your chance to look at the map then.
Yeah.
But yeah, as long as they continue to churn out content, I think VHS is gonna be just fine. The map design is really good. Obviously, they put a lot of love and care into like the aesthetics of their new stuff. I mean, the map is beautiful. The character is obviously very detailed and very interesting. And from what I understand, they have new content coming soon. There's a new teen they've already teased, Reggie, who's going to be coming out. But I thought it was very smart of them to release the monsters solo rather than releasing the monster and the teen at the same time, because that was going to split queues, and now everybody wants to play the new killers, so they're playing.
But I do wonder how they're going to, because the problem is there's not enough killer players, right? So when they release a teen, that's only going to exacerbate.
That's
That
going to be
novel.
instant queues for me. I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm ready. Do the new teen tomorrow. My queues are already turning into like 2 minute. I'm getting like 2 minute monster queues. That's unacceptable.
But VHS has some serious promise, I would say.
Yeah.
I just hope it gets a player base.
It's just too bad that they completely botched the launch. It is just too bad. The 9-month or whatever it was closed beta, and then they launched an early access finally. What was it, last month or July? And to little to no fanfare, to like sub 1,000 player counts. It's just depressing. I think they could have done a much better job.
I'm going to say
launching
something, which is the biggest damnation I can do for their launch. I think it's worse than Resident Evil Resistance is. And that was a car crash.
And that was
I mean,
a very
admittedly,
bad launch.
And that had Capcom, so they lose points just because it's Capcom that fucked it. But still.
That was Resident Evil Resistance's decision to package with RE3 made sense at first, like on paper, but then they never allowed it to be sold separately.
And they never told people they had it.
Yeah.
Like people
That
would
was really
open up
bad.
Resident Evil 3 not be able to find it. Like, did I get it? And they didn't realize it was a separate download on Steam and stuff. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
such a rough launch.
And then they abandoned the game.
And then they abandoned it for.
Yeah.
But don't worry. Reverse is eventually coming, and I am going to play the shit out of that for one stream and laugh at it.
I played in the Reverse beta for 2 matches, and then I was like, I'm good, and I uninstalled it. It feels like a Gmod.
I remember when I saw the trailer and I saw the art style and the weird mix of different styles in it. I was like, this looks like a disaster. Love it.
It's like a game you would find on Itch.io or something.
Yeah.
Like just some indie
looks like a fan game.
piss take. Yeah, it looks like a fan game. Yeah.
Can't wait.
Mean, who knows? Maybe they've fixed it up.
Well,
We'll see.
we all get it, don't we? Didn't it come out with Resident Evil 7? No, 8 came out with Resident Evil 8, right? Like, we all get it for free.
But it's not released yet.
I know. It's just funny that we were meant to get it with Resident Evil 8, and it was meant to come out like a month
that we're
after.
still getting it. Yeah. We'll see.
It's gonna get cancelled.
I mean, they
Probably. Maybe it should. I don't know. It sounds like it's not great. So.
Yeah.
What they should do is just say, sorry, Reverse was terrible idea. We made and instead of giving you that, we're going to give you the Resident Evil 8 DLC for free. Then no one will complain. Everyone's happy.
They should put Gary in charge.
They should.
I do want to sneak in here and just say, if we're talking about botched launches, we could always talk about last year launching as a Discord exclusive.
God, dude.
The Discord exclusive, which Discord doesn't even have a video game storefront anymore. Like last year killed it.
Was that worse? That was probably the worst.
I think that's got to be the worst.
Yeah. That was
it
the
was
worst
Discord exclusive for what, like a year?
A whole year before it came out on Steam, but even coming out on Steam didn't save it because it was a bad game.
No,
it was too late.
Yeah,
I think I remember watching you guys. I remember watching you, John, playing it on Twitch, and it was.
I wanted to love it so bad, but it was fucking terrible. We should do
a disaster.
When we get content starved, we'll do an in memory episode about last year, and I can tell you.
Why don't we play that as well? Why don't we play that this week? Can we still play it? Is it dead?
No,
isn't it?
I don't think so.
I think it's shut down.
I refuse. Even if it's still there, I'm not doing it.
I think it's no longer live on, or they might have gone peer to peer.
We've got a busy week of Home Sweet Home anyway, so
Hide or Die got removed from the store, but I feel like last year is still out there somewhere, pretending like, oh no.
Yeah, I could be wrong. Maybe they just went peer to peer servers. That's usually what they do these days instead of just shutting it down.
Let's look on Steam charts and see if it's got any players.
I remember what really got me about last year was the insta kills that I could not handle.
The Killer Buramori?
Killer in that game was so busted strong.
Yeah.
And then like there were a couple of streamers who were really, I mean, this will give you my short version of why last year died. There were a couple of streamers who were dog shit that complained that survivors were too strong, and the devs listened to them and buffed Killer, and then it made it like literally unplayable.
I wish
I would literally get with a group of 4 of us, and we were all really good. We all played like from the Steam launch. We were like about it, and we would get slaughtered. Every killer felt like Nurse in that game.
Yeah.
You had nothing you could do. You just were just powerless. If the killer player was even remotely good, it was over. We couldn't even make it out of the first room. He just killed it for us.
Yeah, like I tried to play Survivor Teen, whatever it's called, in that game, and it was the same story. It was just like we would spawn in the basement of the school, we would die in the basement of the school.
Absolutely.
Every match.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Horrible.
And then the devs were like, you know what, this game needs stronger killers. Yep, we're gonna buff them.
Oh my god.
Because that's this streamer that we're listening to lost a game on stream, and can't happen. So we got
that can't happen. Gotta have 100% win rate like Deathwire.
Yeah, true.
Well, we do need to also.
Gross.
We also, not to move on from the scintillating last year Home Sweet Home Survive Resident Evil Resistance discussions, but we do have a currently like trending game to talk about, and that's Evil Dead, which received an update this past week. Evil Dead the game.
Yeah.
Which Gary and I actually played a bit of just before the podcast, so we are caught up.
Yes, we've checked out the new Killer and Survivors, as you have as well, Doug. Demon. Sorry.
Yeah.
The comment section ripped me apart for that.
So I mean, I'm not gonna complain that I wasn't invited to play with you guys because I was asleep. But yeah, I'm glad you guys got a chance to play it. I did not play any Survivor. I played 3 Plaguebringer games on stream the other. I think 3 or 4 maybe. Gary, you were there.
Yeah, you played.
Remember? Did you count my games?
I'm gonna guess it was 3 because they were rough,
Right.
and I think you probably would have been like, "I'm done."
Yeah, I'm going to bed. Yeah,
Doug doesn't lose 4 games in a row. He refused it.
True. They weren't rough because of anything the game did though. They were rough because it
was underleveled.
Demon. Yeah, I'm underleveled and I don't play. I've been playing mostly DVD and VHS, so I didn't feel like I was slighted.
And some of those games got close. You did some mad damage. You played well at certain points.
Even as an underleveled Plaguebringer, I felt like I didn't feel powerless. I felt like I could have won one of the 3 games. Even with being underleveled. So my overall take is positive, but I would love to maybe revisit it. If I'm going to give my deep thoughts, like go into a deep thought, I want to give it another week to play it. I've just been playing nothing but VHS.
I'm very keen to play the Plaguebearer or Plaguebringer.
Plaguebringer,
yep.
Plaguebringer. I was looking through all their abilities and stuff, and I think they sound quite interesting. I think what I do really like about the design is it doesn't seem like they've gone insanely different to the other. They don't feel like so outside of the box. It feels like they're probably quite balanced as a result of that. So I quite like that from them. I think the blight idea is quite interesting. So the Plaguebringers can put down cauldrons that can spread blight, and I think the witch kind of like demon summon, special summon, she can spread blight out as well. Which makes survivors take more damage, and I think the balance bar.
It messes with their balance bar. Yeah, and they can't. I don't think they can dodge as effectively either, right? Like slows their. I think
that's one of the heavy unit. I think when that dies, it stops people from being able to dodge and stuff, which I think is really interesting. I love the way it melts. It looks great.
Yeah.
So I really like the idea of it, like spreading that. I think it looks cool. I really like the witch has like a range attack. Like it throws out.
She throws potions. Yeah, potions.
Like it's cool. It's nice and unique when she gets back up as well after she's been killed. It's interesting. There's enough there to make her feel kind of unique.
Did you guys face a lot of Plaguebringers when you were playing Survivor?
We played a couple.
We played against a couple, yeah.
And there was a nice back and forth because me and John haven't played Survivor for a while. Although we had experienced teammates. Well, I say experienced. We had 25, right?
Doug, we had the worst teammates. That were level 20, level 25. Gary and I going in there with our level 1s.
Yeah.
One of them was like, I'm playing Mia. I'm level 21. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll shift off Mia. I want to try her out. But I'll play, Annie instead. And then we go into the game. I'm not kidding. I screenshotted the end result screen. They went down. 0 kills. 0 unit kills for them. They went down in the first 2 minutes. They hit maximum fear, told the demon exactly where we were within the first minute, and we lost so bad.
We got
puppeteer
destroyed.
Player, of course.
No,
it was
sweaty. Hard locked Mia and then threw the game. You hate to see it.
Yeah,
we're sitting there with the new survivors level 1. And there was another one where John got to play as Mia Allen, right? Mia Allen, and I was playing as David Allen.
David Allen,
yeah. And Mia's pretty good. She's pretty.
Yeah, so's David. I like David. Yeah. But we've got 2 level 25s with us, who, when we were going towards the final point,
yes,
they just fought the witch in a forest whilst the thing was closing in. We were like, get in the car, we'll just go.
They just stopped. They dropped everything to fight a witch in the middle of nothing, and I was like, we could just leave her and go to the objective.
Yeah. If we get in this car and go, guys, they've wasted it.
Guys, he made a mistake. We should punish it and just go.
Yeah, they fought it, and we lost loads of and eventually they killed the witch, and then the demon was like, oh, we'll possess the car. We'll possess the car now, and it's like, oh, now our car's been slammed into
So we almost
got use all your resources, rewarded a bad play, and then
and then
we had to walk.
The red mist was coming in, and we ended up pulling it out, but yeah,
nice. And that was after they'd crashed the car because you 3 were together, weren't you, John? You were saying they were driving like an idiot. And I had to drive around to get them. They didn't get in my car.
Yeah, they crashed. They crashed the car because they were going off-road in this ridiculous... They were just constantly running into trees and stuff. And I was like, is this the Evil Dead player base right now?
Yeah.
Are these the
It's
people?
real bad
that are-
drivers in that game.
In
It's kind of
solo,
charming.
We
at
love-
least.
we-
in
Yeah.
solo.
We love full crossplay.
Yeah.
But I've
Oh,
got to say, I really like David as a survivor though. His beacon of hope.
that sounds right. His
I
little
think that's what
aura
it's called. That was cool. Like put some gasoline down, lights a little blue fire that like reduces fear, and no, it doesn't do damage. No, it's just fear. I think it just does fear, and I think it makes it more expensive to be possessed by the demon.
No. The demon can't possess units as easily. Like,
Yeah, it costs more infernal energy
yes.
for them to possess, which I thought was really cool. And then he has the ability. I think he's a support character, and he drinks soda pop. I think people take less damage. He's like a damage thing rather than healing, which I thought was.
Do you have to do a single player mission to get David, or did you just unlock?
No, I just got
You
him.
just have him. Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Maybe
I think it's
season
because
pass
we have the
anyway.
season pass. Yeah. So
Yeah, I do too. But he's a support character.
yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, I didn't realize. I thought he was a leader.
No.
No,
I think
he's
Mia's
support,
a
yeah.
warrior and he's a support.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
enjoy
really-
playing Mia too because she has a really cool ability. I didn't get to use it that much, but when I did, it was pretty effective. Where you just basically press Q. You can't be possessed during the duration of the ability, and as your fear goes up, your damage output increases, and then judging by how much damage you do during the ability's duration, it decreases your fear at the end of it. So you get
That's actually
tons
kind
of
of
fear.
awesome. Yeah.
None of the consequences. You get a nice buff, and then afterwards, if you do enough damage, it gets all taken away. So it's just some free damage. Really cool.
And she looks slightly different, right, when she goes into that mode. I think.
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
she
which
goes
is really
like-
cool.
Yeah, she gets like a little red smoke.
That's
for her
awesome.
Rage.
We still need to play more though, because I haven't seen the new map particularly. We got into a match on the new map, but then John had some weirdo following him around. So we're like, oh, let's just DC. Let's just get away from this guy.
This Ash, he was just constantly hitting me. Just like I would be like sitting there, like I'll pick up this crossbow, and he'd just be sitting there, just whap, 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 and then it wasn't worth it to me.
Yeah, we're like, well, we don't need to
like,
be here.
You want to be annoying? I can just leave. I don't care. I'll ruin the game for you. You're gonna be irritating.
Attention-seeking behavior. I like to hear that you punish that.
Yes.
That's not good.
Yeah, have fun in the 2v1.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but that was on the new map, so we didn't really get to see the new map, sadly.
Yeah, I think the new map is great in my perspective of like for the perspective of like aesthetically, it's very, very fun. If you're an Army of Darkness fan, the new map is really fun.
It looks great.
Yeah,
The first thing that
really
we
good.
both knows were like, whoa, this looks cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did it great with the art and with the keeping it canon accurate, but I would say that it's not a fun map to play as much as Survivor. It's very big, and when you have a map piece at the Kandarian Castle, this is what it's called, the Kandarian Castle, the castle.
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
It's very hard to find map pieces in the castle. There's so many like levels and buildings and stuff. It's just, I don't know, it's kind of frustrating.
I will say, as a small thing about that level as well that I didn't like immediately, I don't like when there's like swords around aesthetically when it's a weapon in the game.
Yeah.
Because I kept trying to pick
so you
them
can't
up.
use it?
Yeah, I was like, I want
Yeah.
the sword. Just don't have
Yeah,
them
I can see
around.
that.
It's annoying. It's a very small thing.
Yeah,
It just
I
annoyed
I
me.
can see that though.
But generally,
Yeah.
like I haven't played much of the update for Evil Dead, but I love Evil Dead. Like as soon as we were playing it again, I was enjoying it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I always feel the same way. When I play it, I love it.
Yeah,
but I
think
don't
it's
feel like
a really cool game.
It's hard for me to make time for it when I'm having so much fun with VHS. But I think this week I'll make a point of it to play a lot of Evil Dead and get caught up.
I'd really like them to give a roadmap. I'd really like to know it's got
Yeah.
a a future.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I just don't know if they have got like more demons to add and more survivors. I feel like
Yeah.
for me, it's really hard to want to dedicate a lot of time into it because I don't know if it's got a future. So
That makes
I would
sense.
love them to do a roadmap with
Yeah.
Because it's like Resistance. It's like as soon as they released Nikolai and Jill, it was like, from our perspective, it was like, okay, this is a good start. And then Capcom was like, no, that's it. That's
Yeah.
all we had planned. So that's all
Yeah.
you're getting.
the roadmap stopped showing
Ended.
anything new like that. They're like, we're making aesthetics, and then we're shutting it down. It's like
yeah.
Yeah,
as
I
soon
would
as
say
that happened, I stopped playing it because I was like, there's no
Yeah.
future.
yeah. Following Evil Dead social media, it seems like they're dedicated to keeping the game moving. Like and the player base is healthy. It's got full crossplay, and console players are crazy. Once they start a game, did you guys know that Predator Hunting Grounds still gets regular DLC updates?
I think we talked about it.
I think you said. I think you said last week it was still live. I didn't know it had DLC
releases
coming out.
Yeah, it continues to have DLC updates. They recently released the one of the characters from the movie Predators. It was like within the last 6 or 8 months, but I mean, it's like still paid DLCs are happening. Licensed DLCs. They have Schwarzeneggers in the game now. They have all kinds of stuff. And the point I was gonna make is that when you have full crossplay on console, a game will like never die. Like people console players get one game and they just play it forever, like 10,000 hours. I'm a Predator
like cosmetics. I want them to be like, we're gonna be adding new, exciting, like mechanics and characters, and it's gonna be built. More levels are coming. Like I
think Evil Dead will stay alive, and I think Evil Dead will continue to release updates. That's my take on it from, again, following their social media and the fact that, because I think I've had this conversation while I've been streaming. A lot of people think it's a dead game because it's dead on Twitch, but like Predator's been dead on Twitch since a month after it came out, and it still has a healthy player base. Still have instant queues on both sides when you play it. I mean, so people are going to keep playing.
I think I would love them just to say, we are making original content as well. I'd be like, this game will live forever then, because you'll just keep making, you can just add your own shit in. Perfect.
Yeah.
They just said that. I'm like, okay, I will dedicate myself, because I like playing it. I think I've not played it for a little while, but it was so much fun just to play it again. Just a good game. Pretty well designed. It's interesting. It's got that Resident Evil Resistance thing that I really liked, playing Demon. And like Survivor's like playing Left 4 Dead. It's great.
Yeah, I agree with both points. Both sides are unique and fun to play. I think it'll survive. I hope so. I want to believe. I'm going to keep playing it regardless. So.
We should figure out some time to swift it up. Well, whenever we're done playing Home Sweet Home Survive.
Yeah.
Our new best game.
Yeah. I just threw up in my mouth.
We're going to become Home Sweet Home Survive streamers.
You do that, Gary. You do that. Let us know how it goes.
I'll be number one in the category. I'll be fine.
We'll check in. We'll check in on you in a few weeks and
make sure you're doing okay mentally after playing that game so much.
Click on my stream. I'm just crying all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have fun getting stunned like 8 times back to back in the span of 30 seconds.
Stun locked for the entire match, right? Yeah.
I mean, who knows? Maybe they've changed it. It'll be interesting to see. But,
I mean, I think we should have a look, because it's got a player base still.
We kind of owe it to our
we have to now. We've promised to have to for season 3.
Yeah, and you know that now that we have this Asym horror podcast, we gotta play more than just DVD. We gotta expand.
No choice.
We gotta check in on the Home Survive, the White Noise 2. You know,
do we really have to play Home Sweet Home this week though? Because like there is still new content in the good games, right?
We could play. We should play. We should play. It would be funny.
I mean, but there is new content in Home Sweet Home Survive. There's a new character.
Exactly.
Okay. I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll download it right now.
We promise you.
You, the viewer, or the listener, you are important to us. We are playing Home Sweet Home Survive for you.
Manage, add to
Doug looks so
stream
unhappy.
Game. Add to stream game.
Spotify listeners, you can't see Doug right now, but he looks dead inside.
He looks tired and fed up, and like he doesn't want to be here anymore. He's not looking forward to season 3 anymore.
Well, weren't you gonna take season 3 off, Doug? Actually,
I think I have to.
You're gonna triumphant return for season 4.
I don't know if I'm taking season 3 off. Actually, I could probably make season 3 happen if we can record a little later.
Oh, okay.
Or actually, I don't even know. Actually, no, I can be here for season 3.
Oh, okay, great. I'm glad to hear it.
Whew. Yeah,
that was a tough.
I can.
Yeah.
He's gonna do it for you.
That's true. I added it to my stream games on Steam. It's official now. I have to.
Gary's really enjoying
I don't want
promises to the listeners.
I don't think I can make Home Sweet Home.
Gary, this push-pull is hurting so much, Gary.
Well, I think we've covered about everything that we wanted to cover. We've been going for quite some time, actually, so we should probably...
We've beaten last times. Longer than season 1.
We should probably wrap. Yeah, the season 2 finale was pretty good, and I hope it gets rave reviews. But we'll have a new segment that will debut next week,
which was
3.
beeped out prior.
Yeah. But yeah, you guys won't know what we're talking about. But I just figured put a little teaser at the end. New segment next week. You guys are
something exciting.
Something.
Actually, we have a few ideas.
We do. Yeah. Look forward to it. It won't
look forward to it.
It won't just be us being like, oh, I think Wesker's high A. It won't just be like,
I decided to put him down to low A.
No, instead we're gonna get some spicy content going.
We're gonna start some drama.
Some drama. I mean, we didn't even talk about the Spook and Jukes video.
No, I feel like we talked about it, but we just didn't talk about it on the podcast.
That's probably good. That's probably for the best.
Yeah.
Maybe next week.
It'll be all.
I would love to.
That would be funny. Let's let the dust settle.
We should get both of them on as guests and just not tell the other one.
That would be good.
Oh my god. I'm in. I want to say. I have so much that I want to say. I have so much that I want to say, but all I'm going to say is I'm in.
Okay. So season 3 will have a new segment. 2 guests that won't know if they're guessing. It's going to be great. You're not going to want to miss it.
And we'll have played Home Sweet Home.
Yes.
What more do you want?
All right, let's shut her down now. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
I love you guys.